are best. Oh, okay. Chen Jun memorized these carefully, and Wu Jiantao discovered that what Director Zai said was actually the way they had always taken care of babies, but the requirements and standards were not so specific. Tomorrow morning, you should bring your baby to the hospital. I will give your baby a thorough physical examination and prescribe some topical medicine for you to apply on your baby. As long as you take good care of your baby's eczema will heal soon. Okay, thank you, Director Zai. No, this is my duty. By the way, Zairajan, do you have tea oil at home? Hey, this. Chen Jun subconsciously turned to look at Wu Jiantao beside him, only to see him quickly say, yes, my mother brought it from my hometown. She said it's camellia oil extracted from camellias grown in the mountains. That's great. You can apply tea oil to the baby first, so that the baby will feel more comfortable and won't cry because of itching when sleeping at night. Well, apart from this, please do not use any more medicines or other skincare products with unknown ingredients on your baby. Your baby's skin is too fragile now. If you use any medicines, it may cause secondary infection and inflammation. If it becomes like this, it will be very troublesome. Do you understand? Yes, we will pay attention. Okay, let's do this for now. I have a consultation tomorrow, so please make an appointment now. Thank you, Director Zai. Haha, no need. What? After another round of thanks, Chen Jun hung up the phone, let out a long sigh, and finally calmed down. Here, Wu Jiantao had already taken the bottle of camellia oil that his mother had brought from the kitchen cabinet, and used a swab to wet the oil and apply it to the baby's face, neck, chest, back, and those red rashes. After doing all this, the two sat on the bed. Chen Jun's face was still full of guilt. He held Wu Jiantao's arm, lowered his head, and kept apologizing while almost sobbing. I'm sorry. It's okay. You didn't want this to happen. Besides, I also have responsibilities. If I had paid attention to your diet earlier and it would affect breastfeeding, I would definitely not have made so many spicy dishes from Shancheng for you to eat. Wu. Chen Jun's eyes were red. Am I stupid? I don't know a lot about taking care of babies. In fact, you have always been the one taking care of the babies. When Daodu and Mio didn't sleep and cried a few nights ago, I couldn't even help you much. That's not true. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to take good care of two babies. Wu Jiantao quickly hugged her and patted her back gently. Don't overthink it. We have been working together to take care of the babies. Although Daodu and Mio have eczema now, I believe that as long as we adjust ourselves well, we will be able to take good care of them. The next day, early in the morning, Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun got up early, unlike the previous mornings, because Chen Jun was not in a good mood, even though Wu Jiantao kept comforting her and encouraging her. The light was not good enough to see clearly last night, but when I woke up this morning, the eczema on the two babies' faces and bodies seemed to be more severe than yesterday. Looking at the eczema on her two babies' bodies, the guilty mother couldn't feel good. Zairajan, you need to calm down and relax. If you keep feeling so bad, it will affect your milk supply, and the baby will become anxious and restless after drinking your milk. There was really no other way, so Wu Jiantao had to use this ultimate killer move. Only then did Chen Jun calm down a little and try hard to calm himself down. He came close to her and looked at the new mother seriously. Don't forget, I'm here. In addition to believing in yourself, you also have to believe in me. I believe we can take good care of the babies and cure their eczema. Yeah, I got it. Chen Jun packed the baby's bottles, milk powder, blankets, and tissue wet wipes into the backpack, while Wu Jiantao went to the kitchen to pour the prepared warm water into the thermos, then took it and put it in the side pocket of the backpack. Let's go. When the family of four went out again today, Wu Jiantao called a special car again. However, as soon as he got in the car and saw the stains on the seat and the faint smell of cigarettes in the car, he couldn't help but frown. The driver in front sensed his dissatisfaction and apologized quickly. I'm sorry, a passenger was smoking in the car just now and I didn't stop him. I'll open the window first to get some fresh air, and the smell of cigarettes will soon dissipate. Sorry. Fine, Wu Jiantao replied calmly, and at the same time made a decision in his heart. It's time to buy a car. Chapter 139 Treatment. Please subscribe and vote tilde. When Wu Jiantao bought Unit 903 of Building 11, he also bought a parking space. He thought that it would be a waste not to take advantage of the system. But now the underground parking space he bought is often occupied by other people's cars. He originally thought that it didn't matter whether he bought a car or not since travel was so convenient now. But now there are frequent traffic jams outside, and it is particularly difficult to find a parking space. But now it seems that buying a car is still necessary. Just like now, the two babies are sick, and they also have dermatitis and eczema, which require a clean environment. Although most of these level of special cars are very clean, with people coming and going, there are always some. I think we should go buy a car. When we arrived at the hospital and were sitting in the corridor outside the outpatient department waiting for our consultation, Wu Jiantao suddenly mentioned something. Buy a car? Chen Jun was a little surprised. Why do you suddenly want to buy a car? I'm also concerned about the baby's health and safety. And the car we just took was a special car, and it smelled so much like cigarettes. We can't keep calling for taxis like this. If we had our own car, we could put the baby in the car and not have to hold him like this all the time, worrying about him touching things. Yeah, that's right. Chen Jun thought so too, but then he thought of something else and turned to look at Wu Jiantao beside him. Do you have a driver's license? Yes, during the summer vacation of my junior year, I went to take the driver's license test with Fat Dragon Xiao and the others. Because they had made an appointment in advance, the two of them, who were with their two babies, only waited for more than half an hour before it was their turn to enter the clinic. Because it was a gynecological clinic, Wu Jiantao still couldn't go in and could only wait in the corridor outside the clinic, watching Chen Jun push the baby stroller into the clinic. From the overall physical examination, the two babies do have eczema, but it's not very serious. Relax first. Don't be anxious and restless. It's also very important for the mother to maintain her mood for the baby. While Director Zai was further examining the two babies, he was also comforting Chen Jun, who was very worried. During this period, you must have a balanced diet. Don't be picky eaters. Don't always eat refined grains. Eat more coarse grains and diversify your diet with meat, vegetables, fruits, and vegetables. This will effectively improve the quality of your breast milk and will not aggravate your baby's eczema. Pay special attention not to eat chocolate or drink malted milk. Okay, I got it. I prescribed some medicine for the baby's skin. Because the two babies' conditions are not serious yet, I did not prescribe hormone drugs. It is a very mild ointment just to make the babies less uncomfortable. In the next 1 or 2 months, as long as the eczema does not continue to worsen, it will definitely get better slowly with your proper care. The babies are still young, so it is best to get better through daily care, apply tea oil, and slowly get better. During this period, eczema may recur, so you have to be patient. If the baby's condition doesn't get better and becomes more serious, you can go directly to the pharmacy and buy a Montesone Furoate cream. I'll write this medicine down for you. If the baby's eczema becomes serious, use this once or twice a day. This is a hormone ointment. I hope you don't need it. Okay, I got it. I heard you say before that your husband seems to know some Chinese medicine, moxibustion, and treatment. Yes, his family is a martial arts family. He is also a professional martial artist, and he has done some research in traditional Chinese medicine. I see. Baby eczema can actually be treated with some external Chinese medicine to clean the affected area. I have written the prescription on the medicine list. You can go to the pharmacy to buy it yourself, boil it into a medicinal soup, let it cool, and then use it to clean the affected area of the baby. Thanks. You're welcome. Wu Jiantao, who was outside, was not idle either. He called Grandpa Wu. When the old man heard that the baby had eczema, he immediately laughed and scolded. Have you forgot everything you learned from me before? In Chinese medicine, eczema is called dampness sore or dampness sore. Come on, tell me, what kind of poison does this symptom refer to in Chinese medicine? It's heat poison. How to treat with dialectical treatment. It is mainly related to dampness, because dampness can accumulate heat, causing symptoms of dampness and heat. Over time, dampness can damage the spleen and heat can damage the yin and blood, leading to symptoms of a mixture of deficiency and excess. The more Wu Jiantao spoke, the brighter his eyes became. From this perspective, acute eczema is mostly caused by dampness and heat, while chronic eczema is mostly caused by a mixture of deficiency and excess. Okay, how do you think we can treat it? Internal treatment should nourish blood and dispel wind, clear away heat and detoxify, and assist with diuresis. Well, isn't that very clear? Okay, since you have figured it out, let's do it. By the way, you don't know much about herbs and the baby is still too young to use random medicines. You'd better use moxibustion and massage. Do you understand? Yes, I know. As Wu Jiantao thought about it, he became more and more certain. He had already thought of treating the eczema of the two babies mainly through massage and supplemented by moxibustion. On the other side, Chen Jun also pushed two babies out of the clinic. Her face no longer had the previous anxiety and worry, and she looked much calmer. Wu Jiantao hurried forward and told her about his recent phone call with the old man and some treatments for the two babies' eczema. Moxibustion. She was surprised. Can moxibustion also be used to treat babies' eczema? Of course you can, he smiled and said. Just be careful not to get too close to the baby, otherwise it will easily burn him. However, the treatment for the baby is mainly massage, supplemented by moxibustion. Oh, what? After getting the medicine at the hospital, they set off for home. Then both Chen Jun and Wu Jiantao tightened their minds and began to treat the eczema on the two babies. First of all, the family's diet was completely changed. Even if Li Ziaoshan came to order food, Chen Jun would not touch the spicy food specialties of the mountain city at all. Every morning when he woke up, he would either drink oatmeal porridge or millet porridge. His 3 meals a day were mostly cereals and whole grains, and all kinds of fruits and vegetables were prepared by Wu Jiantao and were quite delicious. In particular, he would sometimes make these foods into sweet but not greasy desserts, which gradually made Chen Jun feel less guilty and nervous than in the first 1 or 2 days. As for the baby's eczema, Wu Jiantao first applied medicine prescribed by the second hospital to the 2 babies to make them feel less uncomfortable and prevent them from scratching their faces and necks due to itching, which would cause the inflammation to spread and worsen. Then, that is, twice a day, morning and afternoon, the 2 babies will receive traditional Chinese medicine treatment respectively. Yes, it was physical therapy. He specially confirmed the overall plan with his grandfather in his hometown, and the old man optimized it. I believe that with the following care and treatment of the 2 babies, the babies should be cured soon. However, eczema is not so easy to cure for babies, and many babies will have recurrent attacks even with careful care. Wu Jiantao has made mental preparations for this. Chapter 140 fans ask for subscription and monthly tickets tilde. The baby has damp heat, so clearing heat and detoxifying the lung meridian is necessary, while the large intestine also needs to be cleared. Therefore, he massaged the baby's Quachai and Zhusenli acupoints for 1 minute, and then, while the baby was practicing lifting his head, he used the thumbs of both hands to massage along both sides of the spine from the lung point down, along the spleen point, stomach point, triple burner point, kidney point to the baleo point, kneading back and forth. It is normal for the baby to cry during this process, but Wu Jiantao still insisted on massaging the baby in this way, and the time was controlled at about 5 minutes. Since the baby is still young, this massage does not need to last too long. The moxibustion treatments were then staggered to the morning or afternoon. While the babies were asleep, moxibustion was applied to the Hegu points on their hands and the Yinlingquan and Sanianjiao points on their calves. Among them, Yinlingquan acupoint is the most yin acupoint. Mr. Wu later called me specifically and said that this acupoint should be very effective in treating babies' eczema. Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun have been exhausted in the past few days. Because of the itching caused by eczema, the 2 babies have been unable to sleep well at night and have woken up crying. Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun have to take turns to wake up at night. There have been a few mornings when Chen Jun even had to get up to prepare breakfast. Well, especially the first 2 or 3 nights after returning from the hospital, they were both very tired. To some extent, the sleep of babies these days is Schrödinger-like. You never know whether they are asleep or not. Unless you put them in bed, you can finally confirm. Especially Wu Jiantao, the super dad. Whenever the baby cries and Chen Jun can't feed him, he has to hold the baby around the room until the baby falls asleep before trying to put him down. There's no way. This job is really only suitable for him. If Chen Jun gets up and carries the baby around, the sick baby will sometimes be anxious and instinctively seek comfort from breastfeeding. Once the baby eats too much and has bloating, it will be even more uncomfortable and more tiring. Even if this is not the case, if the mother gets up at night, she will not get a good rest and will be physically and mentally exhausted and will easily become irritable. Not only will this affect milk production, but the milk at this time cannot even be given to the baby. Fortunately, such days did not last for many days, only about 3 or 4 days. With Chen Jun's adjustment of diet, the application of tea oil as the main ointment, and Wu Jiantao's massage therapy and moxibustion treatment twice a day, in less than a week, the eczema on Daodu and Mayo Miao's faces and bodies subsided a lot, leaving only a few scattered red spots. Seeing the eczema on the 2 babies subsiding rapidly and gradually returning to their previous state, I began to live a wonderful life of eating and sleeping, playing with them when I woke up, and sleeping again after playing. In the past few days, Wu Jiantao also took the time to pick up an SUV electric car. Well, it was the car produced by Feiyun Group led by President Mo in the past few years. Feiyun Automobile was the first to open up a bright situation in the pure electric vehicle market. This is our future mother-in-law's group. If Wu Jiantao doesn't support it, who will? Then he bought a pure electric home-type SUV that was recently launched by Feiyun Group. It cost only about 100,000 yuan, was comfortable and affordable, and had many humanized functional designs. The shape of the whole vehicle is very different from that of ordinary SUVs. It is not that big and is relatively small. The length of the vehicle is just over 4 meters, and the height is only 1.77 meters, which is shorter than Wu Jiantao. However, the lines of the car are smooth and soft, and the interior materials are also quite good. There is no new car smell, and it feels very comfortable to sit in. Although it looks small from the outside, there is a lot of space inside, and it is not crowded at all. As soon as he bought the car, Wu Jiantao installed 2 safety seats in the back seat that the babies can lie down in. This way, when going out in the future, Daodu and Mio can lie in them and buckle up, which is safer. On the morning of a new day, Wu Jiantao prepared breakfast and started packing. Well, today he is taking Chen Jun and the 2 babies back to his hometown. He had not planned to go back so early, but it happened that the 2 babies were not feeling well. Going back to his hometown can help Chen Jun recuperate, and at the same time let the old man take a look at the 2 babies and do some Chinese medicine therapy, which will help them get better faster. Jiang Tao, help me bring in the clothes outside the balcony. Chen Jun in the room was packing the 2 babies' clothes, diapers, milk bottles, and thermos filled with hot water, and shouted to Wu Jiantao, who was outside the room. Good. After putting 2 sets of clothes into the suitcase, Wu Jiantao got up and went to the balcony to bring in all the clothes that she had hung outside. The weather is very good today. The morning sun warms the underwear on the balcony. The fabric is extra soft in the hand. Wu Jiantao very naturally held Chen Jun's and his own underwear, as well as the baby's clothes and swaddles in his arms, full of warmth. Here, this is yours. Walking into the room, he put the girl's underwear on the bed and began to fold the clothes. Looking at the 2 big cups on the bed, Wu Jiantao turned his head and glanced at Chen Jun, who was still sorting the clothes of the 2 babies. Hey, Zairajan. What? Chen Jun didn't even turn around, still sorting out the baby's things. Oh, by the way, when my mother came back a few days ago at 9:02, she brought tea oil cream specifically for the 2 babies to use. After applying this on the babies, their eczema obviously healed faster. How do I fold this? Which one? She turned her head with a look of reproach on her face, and when she saw the 2 big cups placed in front of Wu Jiantao, she couldn't help blushing and hurriedly took the underwear. I can sort this out myself. You just fold yours and the babies. What are you looking at? Someone kept glancing over here, and Chen Jun gave him a fierce look. I just want to see how you fold your clothes. What's the matter? Wu Jiantao said confidently. Never mind. Chen Jun was already somewhat immune to his rogue face. She casually folded her underwear and put it away. But someone next to her was amazed and said, "Is this an E?" She rolled her eyes at him coquettishly. Do you think I'm a cow? If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. Oh, it's not that big, that's D. Chen Jun's face turned slightly red, and she didn't want to get entangled with this guy on this issue. As expected, you are the woman I cannot control. However, I guess you only had C before you got pregnant with Daodu and Mio. She turned around and glared at him. Ning is very experienced and knows a lot. It's just so-so, it's because you've only recently become interested in me. I'm your fan now. Chapter 141, Did the Cousin Lose? Did he win? Please subscribe and give me a monthly ticket, Tilda. Fan. Chen Jun was stunned at first, but when he saw where someone's gaze was, he immediately reacted. With a red face, he reached out and pinched the guy's waist and ribs. Where are you looking at? Where did you get such a weird statement, you big pervert, stinky hooligan? Ouch, ouch. Wu Jiantao let out a strange cry, and without further ado, he embraced the girl with both hands and hugged her tightly in his arms. Chen Jun's legs immediately became weak, but he still struggled hard. You bastard, let me go. The baby's clothes haven't been put into the backpack yet. What? When they were leaving, Daodu and Mio woke up in the stroller. They looked around curiously with their bright eyes and were very curious about everything around them. They took the elevator directly to the underground parking lot. The 2 people pushing the baby stroller, carrying large and small bags and suitcases, came to the car they had just bought. Let's take the bus. Today we are going back to our hometown to visit Grandpa and Grandma, as well as Great-Grandpa and Great-Grandma. First, he put the luggage in the trunk and then opened the door. Wu Jiantao carefully took the 2 babies out of the stroller and put them on the back seat. Zairajan, you and the baby should sit in the back. There is enough space in the back. If they cry suddenly, you can take care of them in time. Okay. Although Chen Jun was a little nervous about going to Wu Jiantao's hometown, there was nothing he couldn't accept. Well, they are close now anyway, so there is nothing wrong with moving back to his hometown. Like last night, someone tried to test her whether she wanted to find a date to get the marriage certificate or something, but Chen Jun rolled her eyes at him and didn't respond. Actually, it's not that she doesn't want to do it, nor does she dislike him. Now they have been together for so many days, waking up together in the morning and sleeping together at night. The emotional bridge built by the two babies is already very solid, and it's time. Only, if someone doesn't provide some formalities, she will definitely not get the certificate so easily. Although Chen Jun has never cared about many formalities, she still cares a lot about such an important event in life. Naturally, it is impossible for her to skip this step and rashly get the certificate. This is a very important link and must not be missed. As for what kind of ceremony to use, how big the scene is, and so on, Chen Jun really doesn't care about these. She only cares about Wu Jiantao's feelings. On the way back to Q City, Li Xiaoshan called Chen Jun and said that they had taken their 3 meals a day away with them, and lamented that she didn't know what to eat for the next 2 days. Listening to what the girl said, Chen Jun rolled his eyes speechlessly. Go away if you want to eat delicious food, ask your husband to learn cooking skills. He's already learning, but distant water can't quench immediate thirst. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Chen Jun on this side gossiped for a rare moment and asked her with a sly smile, I haven't asked you yet, how far have you and Yuan Huang come now? Hearing this, Wu Jiantao, who was driving in front, couldn't help but prick up his ears. He was also very concerned about how far his cousin and this girl had come. Oh, this he lost. Chen Jun, not to mention this innocent girl. Even Wu Jiantao couldn't turn the steering wheel for a while and looked confused. What does it mean? These two people are in love, and there is no such thing as losing or not. Huff. After a while, Wu Jiantao, who was an experienced driver after all, finally reacted and almost choked on his breath. Fortunately, he practiced martial arts and had strong skills in his hands and feet, and he was as still as a mountain. Otherwise, their car would have really swayed on the highway. No, Li Xiaoshan, I'm talking about your current relationship with him. What do you mean by winning or losing? Well, Li Xiaoshan on the other side deliberately sighed and said with a wicked smile, Good sister, haven't I made it clear enough? In our relationship, he is the loser. Why can't Ning understand? You mean he lost to you because he was too proactive? This innocent kid tried to understand fully. Yes. He took the initiative, he was just too proactive, so he lost in the end. Chen Jun was confused, but still realized something was wrong. Although I don't know what's wrong, there is no doubt that you are fooling me. There were 2 unbridled laughs coming from the other side. Even if Chen Jun was slow-witted, he knew that Li Xiaoshan must have said something slangy just now. After a while, Bai Xiaoyuan's voice came over. Jun, if you continue to be so pure, you will always be controlled by Xiaoshan. You are so stupid. The word lose here is not a noun, but a verb. Noun. Verb. Chen Jun still didn't quite understand, so he hung up the phone, not wanting to talk to the 2 old drivers anymore. He turned to look at the old driver in front of him. Jiang Tao, what did Li Xiaoshan and the others mean by losing just now? I told you not to hit me, I'm driving. It's okay, I'll beat you up when we get to the service area. Go ahead. 10 minutes later, they arrived at a highway service area and just got off the car. Oops. Wu Jiantao got out of the car, grimacing as he covered his waist where he had just been pinched. Chen Jun, who got out of the car, was ashamed and angry. You hooligan, you pervert. He also looked innocent. I didn't say that, but you insisted on listening to my explanation. So I was wrong. Chen Jun widened her beautiful eyes, her face flushed with anger, and suddenly thought of the culprit. She picked up her cell phone and sent that guy 3 angry expressions and a paragraph. Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, just wait for me. Wahahaha, you finally reacted. I say your reaction arc is too long. Doghead ooh. HMPH. The whole journey took more than an hour, which is naturally much slower than taking a bullet train. But the advantage is that you are riding in your own car, which is more comfortable and free. We're almost there, Xiaojun, wake up. Ahem. Chen Jun, who was half asleep in the car, woke up and suddenly asked, Are we there yet? Not yet, it's almost there. Oh, she quickly took out her small mirror from her backpack, looked at herself, combed her hair, which was a little messy from sleeping, and put some lipstick on her lips. Although he had been getting along with Mother Wu for quite some time, and had even met Father Wu, Old Man Wu, and Grandma Wu, Chen Jun still felt a little uncomfortable when the time came. You. Wu Jiantao saw the discomfort on her face from the rearview mirror. Are you okay? Are you feeling unwell? No. The girl's face was a little tense. Chapter 142. Home, please subscribe and vote for the monthly ticket tilde. In Wufeng Village, a bustling street in Q City, in the center of the village, under a large banyan tree that is hundreds of years old, Wu Jiangtao's hometown is here. In one morning, Grandma Wu came to the eldest brother's house for the third time. Tao Tao and the others haven't arrived yet. As soon as she walked through the gate, Grandma Wu saw her son standing in the courtyard practicing martial arts. Next to her, her daughter-in-law was washing vegetables at the sink, preparing ingredients, and waiting for her son to come back to make lunch. I just called, and Zyro Tao said he has already gotten off the highway, so he should be home in about 10 minutes. Oh, okay, I'll wait here. Hey, you haven't cooked yet. Grandma Wu just turned around and saw that the ingredients were neatly arranged in the kitchen and had not yet been processed. She couldn't help but ask a question. Wu Ma was embarrassed and quickly explained, the rice is ready, but the dishes. Zyro Tao asked me to prepare them and wait for him to come back to cook. He knows Zyro Jun's taste and what she eats. Oh, so that's it. Grandma Wu nodded and said, yes, Tao Tao is becoming more and more sensible, and he knows how to take care of others. As she spoke, she sat on the bamboo chair in the courtyard and glanced at her son. Unlike this brat, who can even blow up the rice cooker when cooking for so many years. Wu Dad, he was standing in a posture practicing martial arts with a look of speechlessness on his face. No, you two mother and daughter can't get over this matter, right? While they were waiting, Wu Jiangtao drove Chen Jun and the two babies into the village. The unique architectural features in the southern part of M province made her look around with great curiosity. Walking past the stone-paved square at the entrance of the village and the tall stage, many ancient houses came into view along the way, with bright red brick walls, slightly raised swallowtail wings at both ends of the roof, and bricks and tiles that had lost their original color due to wind and rain, with sparrows jumping on them from time to time. The roads in the village are not wide. Only the cement road at the entrance of the village can accommodate vehicles. As Wu Jiangtao's car drives further inside, the roads in the village become narrower. For example, the uphill road now can only accommodate one car. Suddenly, a car appeared in front of us, but it immediately pulled to the side of the road, leaving a space for the car to pass. Wu Jiangtao looked a little speechless. He only got his driver's license last year, and he hadn't driven the car many times. Although he could pass the test, it was a test of his driving skills. But there was no other way. He could only go ahead. Suddenly, he thought of something and turned back to Chen Jun and said, Zyojun, please get out of the car and help me check it. I'm afraid it might be scratched. Oh, okay. Chen Jun quickly opened the car door and walked out. On the other side, in the opposite car, the young driver looked at Wu Jiangtao, who was moving slowly, and immediately became impatient. Who is it? So stupid. I would have been there long ago with such a big space, but you are still dilly-dallying. Oh my God, who is this? Hey, look at the girl on the opposite side. Whose family is this girl from? I have no impression of her. Suddenly, the people in the car were talking about it, especially the elders in the back seat, who were looking at the girl standing on the curb and directing the people in the car to drive over. It shouldn't be from our village. Hey, look in the car. Isn't that the kid from Dayoung's family? Seeing that the other car was about to pass, the young driver quickly rolled down the window and leaned over. Jiangtao. Huh? Wu Jiangtao subconsciously stepped on the brakes, looked up and greeted him uncertainly. Nabita. Yeah, long time no see. What are you doing? The young driver, nicknamed Dakshin, glanced at Chen Jun, who got into the car again. Are you bringing your girlfriend home? Wu Jiangtao nodded at him. This man was his elementary school classmate. 2 years ago, the village elementary school held a class reunion. Since they were all from the same village, all the classmates who came were quite complete. It was at that time that everyone got to know each other again. Otherwise, if they met now, they probably wouldn't say hello. That's fine, brother. He gave him a thumbs up, meaning that bringing such a beautiful girl back to the village brought honor to the village. When can we sit together? Okay. After saying hello, the two cars passed each other. Hey, did you see that? Your classmate's girlfriend was holding a child. Nabita's mother in the back seat saw it clearly and said another sentence. No way. Nabita was stunned. At the class reunion 2 years ago, he said he was a sophomore. Now, he just graduated. I haven't heard that he got married. How could he have a child? Look, those who went to college are already married and have children, but you haven't even gone to college and are still single. For a while, his mother in the back seat of the car kept talking about his marriage, which made him feel overwhelmed and upset. Mom, do you think I want to be single? I just haven't found the right one. If you can help me find someone like the one I just found, I will definitely be happy to do it. What the hell do you want? The mother in the back seat of the car was so angry that she laughed. Don't you have any idea of what you are like? The Dayoung family has always been talented since the old man's generation. They practiced martial arts and joined the army to serve the country. What about you? It's okay that you are not good at studying, but you didn't find a girlfriend in the past few years after you were discharged from the army. It's because you are so unrealistic that you can't find one. Mom, you can't treat your son like that. What? Chen Jun rolled down the car window to get some fresh air and felt the atmosphere of life in this country house. It was almost noon, and smoke was wafting from every household. The aroma of food wafting over made her feel like she was in her childhood. On the road, children in the distance were running and chasing each other as they returned home from school, laughing and joking. Soon, their car arrived under a very large banyan tree, and the sound of birds chirping could be heard from the tree. Arrive! Wu Jiantao parked the car in a square beside the road under a tree, got out of the car, and went to the back to take out the stroller first. Chen Jun carefully held Daodu and got out of the car first. Baby, we're here at Daddy's hometown. When we first started on the road, the two babies fell asleep in a short while in the gently rocking car. Now, when we arrived at the destination, they opened their big black eyes and looked around curiously before we even got out of the car. He fell asleep after the car started and woke up as soon as the car arrived. Chen Jun found it funny, but she still put the baby in the stroller with Wu Jiantao. The family of four was about to walk towards their home not far away, but they saw an aunt sitting at the neighbor's door looking at them curiously. She walked a few steps forward and greeted them uncertainly. Jiangtao, you're back. Hey, who is this? Chapter 143. Please subscribe and vote at home tilde. It's me, Aunt Aijin, long time no see. This is my girlfriend, Xiaojun. Wu Jiantao smiled and greeted the other party, then quickly gestured to Chen Jun beside him. The girl quickly waved and greeted the aunt. Oh, we all know about you. Great. You're even more handsome than they said. Everyone is wondering when you'll bring her and the kids back. The aunt looked at Chen Jun happily, then leaned down to look at the baby. Her eyes narrowed into slits due to her smile. Not only her, but also the neighbors nearby gathered around and looked at Chen Jun and the two babies with surprise. That girl is Daeyang's daughter-in-law. She is just as beautiful as those aunts who attended the full moon banquet said before. Tusk, they even have children, and they are twins, a boy and a girl. No wonder the couple are so happy these days, and they walk like the wind when they go out. Look at them, they even have children. What about you? Wu Jiantao didn't know how much damage he had caused to the single people in the neighborhood by bringing Chen Jun and the two babies back home. He is so handsome, has a college degree, is 1.8 meters tall, has practiced martial arts since childhood and has 8-pack abs, but he actually has a girlfriend. Having a girlfriend is fine, but he even has a child. Having a child would be fine, but they are twins, a boy and a girl. This is simply unbearable. Under the big banyan tree, most of the neighbors just looked at it from a distance, and those who came nearby to join in the fun were actually mostly relatives of Wu Jiantao. As they were talking, Wu Mama, Wu Papa, the old man, and the grandmother appeared. Haha, let's go. Let's not disturb your family reunion. What? Dad, Mom, Uncle, Aunt, Grandpa, Grandma. Under the big banyan tree, the family finally met each other. Grandma Wu came over and took Chen Jun's hand immediately. It's good that you're here. It's good that you're here. We live in the countryside. I hope you can get used to living here. There's nothing difficult about living here. I like it very much. Chen Jun smiled slightly. This place feels very similar to when I lived with my grandparents when I was a kid. Okay. After returning home, Wu Jiantao took her and the baby back to his room, and Wu's mother and grandmother also came over. Mom, you even changed the bed for me. As soon as he stepped into his room, he discovered the changes in his room. Although the sheets were still old, the bed and mattress had become much larger. Fortunately, the rooms in his home were all very large, so the new bed did not make the room seem cramped. Of course, we have to change. When you were alone before, 2 meters by 1 meter and 80 were enough, but now it's you and Xiaojun, and there are 2 babies to live with, so naturally 2 meters by 2 meters and 3 will be enough. Wu Ma said as she walked to the bed and pointed at the baby's bed. This is the baby's bed your father asked your uncle to build using the logs from here. These mattresses and sheets were specially bought and washed and aired. Yes, Aunt, please help me. Chen Jun smiled at them and carried the 2 babies to the bed. This baby bed has wheels underneath, so it can be pushed around. But this is on the 2nd floor, so let Jiang Tao carry it down the stairs. As they were talking, Grandma Wu moved closer to the 2 babies who had just woken up, talked to them and teased them. Daodu and Mayomio made babbling sounds, as if responding to what Grandma said. Then, Daodu turned over swiftly from lying on his back to lying on his stomach, and his raised little head was surprisingly strong. Ouch! Xiaodu can turn over. This scene surprised and delighted Wu Mama and Wu Granny. They not only turned over, but also saw that Xiao Daodu was still supporting himself with one hand and trying to reach out with the other hand. I remember the baby is not even 3 months old yet. Mother Wu turned her head and looked at Wu Jiantao, who had just put down his luggage. Well, there's still 1 week left until 3 months. Then your sister's athletic ability is pretty good. I've seen many babies in the village who can't even roll over after being over 3 months old. By the way, has your brother Mao been able to roll over? Grandma Wu asked. Brother is still a little short, look. Seeing her brother Mao trying hard to turn over like her sister Mao. He tried once, twice, 3 times. Every time he felt like he was about to turn over, but he was just a little bit off. Finally, his dad came over and gently gave the little guy a boost, and he successfully turned over. Brother, you have to work harder. Your sister is better than you. Yeah. The baby makes sounds at the right time, as if responding to what the adults are saying. After putting their luggage in the room, they walked out of the room again and carried the baby downstairs. When they were still on the 2nd floor, they could hear someone coming to the yard in front, talking lively with Wu's father, and there were also sounds of naughty children playing. Your 2nd uncle and 3rd uncle. Mother Wu glanced outside and said, It seems like your cousins are here too. They were too busy with work to go to the 2 babies' 1-month-old celebrations. This time, they probably came to see the 2 babies and Xiaojun. Look at me. Chen Jun, who has always been a little thin-skinned, felt a little uncomfortable, but she could understand this. In the past, when any of her cousins brought their boyfriend or girlfriend home for the first time, the aunts and sisters who lived in a courtyard house or next door would immediately hear the news and gather around, one by one, looking at them as if they were looking at a rare national treasure in a zoo. When they arrived at the yard, everyone who was chatting turned around and looked over, and there was still silence. Even though they had heard from the elders at home about how beautiful Xiao Tao's wife, no, it should be just his girlfriend, was before coming here. But when they saw her at this moment, they still couldn't help but be shocked. So beautiful. When I got closer, I really felt like the stars on TV were right in front of me. Especially this kind of temperament, it feels like ordinary female stars can't compare to it. Not to mention them, even the 2nd and 3rd uncles who attended the full-month banquets for the 2 babies. And the 2 aunts, even though they had met before, they still couldn't help but look at them a few more times. Xiao Tao is such a lucky boy. This girl is really beautiful and has a good temperament, the type that is pleasing to the eye. A cousin of Wu Jiantao came closer and couldn't help but come up to Chen Jun, saying with a smile, I didn't have time to go when the baby was 1 month old, but I always heard my parents say how beautiful you are. Now that I see you in person, I am really convinced. Brother Tao is really lucky. Chapter 144, The Old Man is Asking for Subscriptions and Monthly Tickets tilde. Hello. Faced with this cousin, Chen Jun didn't know how to respond for a moment. My name is Xiaoyan, hello. I am Chen Jun. After another round of greetings, Chen Jun and Wu Jiantao held the babies and sat on the rattan chairs in the yard. As soon as they sat down, Grandpa Wu immediately took the baby's pulses, gently checked the baby's eye fundus and tongue coating, and asked about the baby's stool color and sleep. Both babies are fine. It seems that the 2 physical therapy plans were very effective. Now there are only a few small red spots left. They should be fine in 2 days. Old Master Wu said with a smile. Thank you, Grandpa. Chen Jun hurriedly thanked him. No, the old man was very happy. Grandma and I are the happiest that you can come back. Grandpa, do you want to hug little Bean? The old man was a little surprised. Can I hug her? I'm afraid it will scare her. No. Chen Jun handed the little Daodu in her arms to Grandpa Wu, who then carefully took it. He saw that this lovely little great-grandson was actually lying very peacefully in his arms, looking at him curiously with his big black eyes, revealing a touch of human confusion. It's the taste of my mom, but why does it seem different? Well, the blanket that Xiao Daodu is wrapped in now has always been placed together with Chen Jun's clothes. It is full of the scent of her mother. Although there is some smell of strangers now, it will not scare her. In addition to doing research project work at the Research Institute at home these days, Chen Jun has been studying some treatments and papers about babies that he had collected before. He also continues to search for relevant documents on the internet to know how to prevent the baby from being frightened to the greatest extent possible. One key point is to let the baby be surrounded by his own scent at all times. As long as the baby can always feel the mother's scent, even if there are some noises, it will not necessarily scare the baby. Daodu and Mao appeared in the yard. The naughty kids who were running around in the yard just now became much quieter under the strict requirements of the adults. They dared not make any noisy noise for fear of scaring the two little babies. The babies are less than 3 months old now. They are still too young. Even before the adults came, they had been reminded by the old man not to pinch or kiss the babies' faces easily. The eczema on the two babies' faces has not healed yet, and their skin is too thin and tender to withstand the secondary invasion of bacteria from the hands of adults or naughty children. For example, some time ago, an aunt from the same village brought her 1-year-old baby to seek treatment from the old man. She said that the baby had stomach discomfort, diarrhea, and a lot of pimples on his face, which were very scary. It turned out that this aunt had been very stubborn in chewing the food before feeding the child every 3 meals. The daughter-in-law had raised her opinions with her several times. Rather than raising opinions, it was basically equivalent to quarreling. But she still did her own thing and argued that I was the one who raised the child's father. So why can't I do the same for my grandson? What's more, if I chew it into pieces and give it to my baby, won't he be able to digest it better? After asking about the details, the old man got so angry that he scolded her. Compared to babies who only drink milk and have almost no bacteria in their mouths, there are a large number of bacteria in the mouths of adults. If the adults are feeling unwell somewhere, there will be even more bacteria. If they are fed with careful chewing, it is almost certain that the bacteria in the adults' mouths will be transmitted to the children. The bacteria in the mouths of adults do not affect their health due to their own immunity and resistance. However, once they are transmitted to babies with soft oral mucosa and weak resistance, they will 99% likely cause disease. The grandson of this auntie did not have the immunity and resistance of adults, so he was not immune either. His throat was full of white bubbles, which was clearly a bacterial infection and heat toxins. After giving this aunt's grandson moxibustion and massage, and prescribing many medicines for clearing away heat and detoxifying, she also reluctantly prescribed some pediatric cephalosporin. She then told her in an angry and amusing tone that she should not feed the baby like this anymore, and only then let her go. The old man is not an old stubborn man who clings to the inflexibility of traditional Chinese medicine. For this degree of illness, he still needs to take antibiotics. Pure traditional Chinese medicine treatment will take at least more than a month to get better, but the child can't swallow at this moment and cries all day long, so he naturally needs to be supplemented with Western medicine. In the end, the aunt finally realized that what she had done before was totally wrong. After returning home, she no longer fed her baby in the same way. Her little grandson also recovered quickly under the old man's treatment. Near noon, my second uncle and third uncle sat for a while, and then went back. It was a rare trip back home, so Wu Jiangtao naturally took care of the lunch at home. With him around, the lunch was naturally delicious. A family was eating together in the dining room. 2 babies were lying on the baby bed beside them, looking at them curiously while they were eating. They seemed to be babbling because of the smell of the food. "Are you used to eating this?" At the dinner table, Grandma Wu looked at Chen Jun kindly and asked in a friendly manner, "It's delicious, I love it. Haha, as long as you like it, then eat more." Looking at Grandma Wu's loving face, Chen Jun felt a little sad for some reason and couldn't help but think of the past, when he had been with his grandparents. Compared to the time in the south, she remembers more about the time when snow was falling in her hometown of Kyoto. My grandfather was in good health during those years. He would always ride his bicycle to pick me up from school. The sound of the bell is still as clear as yesterday. Amidst the laughter and joy on the way home, the breath that my grandfather and I exhaled turned into white mist. Sometimes there was too much snow in the alley and the community staff didn't have time to clean it up. My grandfather was afraid that I would slip, so he got out of the car and walked with me. The grandfather and grandson were walking in the alley, leaving 2 sets of footprints of varying depths in the snow. After lunch, when Wu Ma was washing the pots and dishes, Chen Jun did not sit down but went over to help. Wu Ma asked her to rest and not do these things, but as a daughter-in-law, she had already realized her mistake and did not actually sit down but helped to clean up. As for Wu Jiangtao, he was naturally not idle either. He took the 2 babies upstairs to take a bath. Well, earlier when the baby was little, it took 2 people to give him a bath, but now he can do it alone. In the bathroom, I filled the large bathtub with warm water of the right temperature, held Daodu in my arms and sat beside her. I took off the blanket and clothes on the little girl, dipped my hands in the water, patted her chest to wet it, and then wet her feet. Don't put your baby into the water all at once, or you might scare her. Chapter 145, Electric Motor. Please subscribe and vote for me, Tilda. After Daodu got used to the water, Wu Jiangtao slowly put her half lying in the bathtub, carefully held her little head, washed her hair first, and then dried it slightly with a towel before washing her face. Well, at this time, Dowdu had been splashing in the water for quite a while and was having a great time. Wu Jiantao rubbed her body again, especially her butt, crotch, armpits, and neck. Because babies have fleshy bodies, these places are most likely to be covered with swimming rings. If these places are not wiped dry accidentally, the skin that is attached to them will easily become red and inflamed. Therefore, these places must be cleaned very carefully and must be wiped dry. After washing, Wu Jiantao wrapped Dowdu in a soft bath towel and held him carefully. Perhaps because there was no water to play with, the little guy danced with joy and made very dissatisfied babbling sounds. Carry the baby back to the room, put him on the bed, dry him with a bath towel, and then the last step is apply talcum powder. Chen Jun, who had just finished giving Dowdu a bath and was helping Wu Ma with the housework, came back from outside the door and asked, "Why didn't you wait for me?" Seeing that Wu Jiantao actually gave the baby a bath first, she said something with some anger. "No need, if you only wash one. I can do it by myself," he said with some pride. "How is it? Am I a qualified father?" He was too qualified. Chen Jun rolled her eyes at him. She felt sweet in her heart but couldn't help rolling her eyes at him. Well, someone was in a good mood at this moment. While putting clothes on Dowdu, she hummed a song, "Let's rock together, rock together." "Hey, stop shaking your butt." Chen Jun couldn't help but put his hands up to cover his face. He really couldn't bear to watch. This person. I didn't notice it before. This butt seems to be more twisted than mine. Still curled up. What's wrong with me shaking my butt? I just shake it. Slightly, slightly, slightly. Wu Jiantao went even further, not only twisting his butt, but also adding a small electric motor, completely letting himself go. Just as he was dancing an X-rated dance, the door suddenly opened. Wu Jiantao was caught off guard, and he and Chen Jun both turned their heads at the same time like owls. At the door, Wu's mother, who had just come up to the second floor to check on her baby, also had a frown on her face and suddenly felt, "My hands are itchy." Mom, why don't you knock on the door?" "I knocked, but you were singing so happily that I didn't hear you." Wu Ma glanced at this guy sideways. Someone was extremely embarrassed. The posture and movements of the little motor just now. If he were in junior high or high school, he would definitely be picked up and beaten. Chen Jun next to him covered his mouth and couldn't help but burst out laughing. "Mom, why did you come up here? You little brat, the kitchen knife and frying pan at home are missing. Did you pick them up and hide them behind your back again?" Wu Ma walked in unhappily and snorted. Wu Jiantao was stunned, then reached back and took out the frying pan and kitchen knife at home and handed them to his mother. Chen Jun. The girl was stunned. What was going on? This was the first time she saw Wu Jiantao hiding a frying pan and a kitchen knife on his back. They were obviously two large utensils, but she didn't notice anything wrong when they were placed on his back. Not to mention that she was just an ordinary person. When the family gathered together for lunch today, even Father Wu and Grandpa Wu didn't notice. "You little brat, we're at home, not out in the open. Why are you hiding a weapon? Also, if I see you being so indecent again, I'll beat you up." Taking the frying pan and the kitchen knife, Wu Ma scolded the guy angrily and turned away. Wu Jiantao was a little speechless. I feel like most men are like this in front of their wives. Isn't my dad like this? Impossible. As soon as Wu's mother went downstairs and returned to the room, she saw Wu's father sitting at the desk reading a newspaper. She suddenly became furious and rushed forward to hit him. The palm wind comes easily, and the force is crisp. Bang! Ouch, why did you hit me? It's okay, I just don't like you. Second floor. Is the baby asleep? Seeing that the baby was asleep, Chen Jun couldn't help but yawn. He had been sitting in the car for a whole morning and had just eaten, so he felt a little sleepy now. Want to sleep? What else? Chen Jun took out her pajamas from the suitcase and was about to put them on, but Wu Jiantao smiled and said, "Don't sleep anymore. It's a rare trip home. Come out for a walk with me. When we first got home, weren't you quite curious about the Wufeng Tower on the mountain behind our village?" Upon hearing this, Chen Jun was suddenly alert and turned to look over. The mountain behind our village is only about 100 to 200 meters high. It only takes a few minutes to reach the top. Since this is your first time here, I'll take you for a walk up the mountain. It'll be a way to relax. Do you want to come? But there are two babies. It's okay. I'll tell my mom and ask her to help keep an eye on them. Dowdu and Mio usually take 3 or 4 hour naps now, so they don't wake up that quickly. We'll probably be back in about an hour or so if we go out for a walk. Oh well, Chen Jun was just a little sleepy and didn't really need to take a nap. Moreover, she was too busy working at the research institute and basically worked around the clock, so she didn't develop the habit of taking a nap. Studies have found that if the insulin level is too high, the blood rises too quickly after a meal, which can easily make people sleepy. To avoid sleepiness after a meal, you should eat less carbohydrate-rich foods, such as white rice or refined noodles. Because the work at the Institute is too busy, everyone needs to work more efficiently. In order to get into work better and faster in the afternoon, the Institute will also specially invite chefs to cook. The customized lunch is more fruits and vegetables, more whole grains and less rice. Focus on nutrition and eat less or even no high-fat and high-calorie foods. In this way, everyone will still be energetic after lunch and will not feel sleepy. They can quickly get back to work after a short rest. Ordinary office workers would not know about this. Only workaholics like Chen Jun, who have been working intensively in the Research Institute and research institutes that are in great need of work efficiency, would pay special attention to this and even form some work styles and habits for this purpose. Although such food is not as delicious as fried, high-fat and high-calorie foods, it is natural and healthy and has a unique flavor, so everyone in the Institute still recognizes it. Especially girls like Chen Jun, they affectionately call such lunch a healthy meal for fat loss. Chapter 146, Back Mountain. Please subscribe and vote tilde. After saying something to their mother, the two of them walked out the door. The afternoon in early July was originally very hot, but it rained heavily yesterday and this morning, so it was not as hot as usual. There were many clouds in the sky, which just happened to block the sun. But even so, Chen Jun still applied a lot of sunscreen before going out. Although there was no sunshine, she would definitely get tanned if she went out without any sunscreen. As soon as I go out, I am greeted by the afternoon breeze under the trees, bringing a rare coolness in the summer. The birds in the trees are chirping, and the cicadas are buzzing. Wow, it's so cool. The environment here in your house is really great. Most of the house is under this big banyan tree. Chen Jun couldn't help but exclaimed. There are also some annoying things. There are always a lot of banyan leaves and seeds falling on the roof, especially when it rains. These things always block the drainage pipes on the roof. We often have to go to the roof to clean them up, which is quite troublesome. But don't you think you are lucky to have lived under such a big tree since childhood? Chen Jun raised his head and looked at the big banyan tree that required at least 3 or 4 people to hug together. He saw that it was lush and green, with many roots hanging down from its twisted branches. Walking under the tree, the air is filled with the scent of grass and trees. Haha, do you see those roots? Wu Jiantao pointed at the aerial roots hanging from the branches and said, sometimes there are too many of them and they are too long, so we have to clear them away. Also, why do you think the square under the tree is so clean? It needs to be cleaned. I have been following my senior brothers and sisters since I was a child, and I don't know how many times I have cleaned it. Chen Jun rolled his eyes at him, too lazy to waste any more words with him. Walking along the main road in the village, there are some trees on both sides of the road, forming patches of shade. I haven't been back for more than a year. Many people are building houses along the road, and it seems that they have cut down a lot of trees. Wu Jiantao shook his head. Originally, there were a lot of trees on both sides of this road, like the big houses over there. When I was a kid, it was a peach forest. The children in the village loved it the most, especially during the summer vacation. They always liked to go there and steal the half-ripe green peaches. Why do we have to cut down trees to build a house? Chen Jun is a city dweller and doesn't really understand these things in the countryside. Well, it's all for the purpose of expanding my own house, you see. Wu Jiantao pointed to a family whose wall was built very far out, even to the road. Some families also had a corridor protruding from the second floor towards the avenue, just to make my yard bigger and take up more space. Chen Jun couldn't help but frown. In her impression, people in the countryside were very simple and honest, and would not take advantage of the public for such a small space. But in the past 2 years, some people dare not cut down trees indiscriminately. Wu Jiantao showed a hint of sarcasm on his face. Yes, 2 years ago, there was a family at the entrance of the village who cut down 2 large trees in front of their door in order to expand their yard. I don't know who in the village reported it. Guess how many years the man of that family was sentenced to? Chen Jun was stunned. Wu Jiantao laughed and said, when the police came to our house, it alarmed our whole village. He also said that the tree was planted by his great-grandfather and asked me what law I had violated by cutting down my own tree. But the law stipulates that personally owned forests are also part of the national forest resources, so the male owner was taken away directly. Later, the procuratorate brought a public prosecution. Because the 2 trees were old and rare, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Because of this incident, his son was greatly affected. After graduating from university, he was unable to take the civil service exam. It is also because of this incident that all of us in the village now know what the crime of indiscriminate tree felling is, and the phenomenon of indiscriminate tree felling has decreased in the past 2 years. This is really your own fault. Chen Jun shook her head. Although it was the first time she heard about this law, she knew she could not do such a thing. But didn't you just say that many trees on both sides of the road were cut down? It has probably been moved. Even if it needs to be cut down, they probably have to apply for it or something, Wu Jiantao said calmly. The two of them walked along the road towards the back mountain. Passers-by who saw them would subconsciously look at Chen Jun a few more times. The small owners of the 2 or 3 grain and oil shops on the side of the road all knew Wu Jiantao and greeted him from afar. The neighbors watched them walk by and couldn't help but talk about them inside and outside the store. That's his girlfriend. I guess so. Wasn't it rumored in our village a while ago that Dayoung's kid had 2 children with a girl right after graduation, and they were twins, a boy and a girl? I guess it was her. It's really just as Aunt Aijin said, it's so beautiful. Humph, he's a good student at M University, but as far as I know, his academic performance is just average, and his family isn't rich. How could the other party be interested in him? He. A young man of the same age said sourly. How can they suddenly have twins right after graduation? I think Jiang Tao is just a scapegoat. Hey, those twins may be the children of some rich second generation. Shut up, do you think you can say anything nonsense about your uncle Dayoung? Yes, his family is not very rich, but don't forget, his martial arts school is not simple. Not simple, the young man scoffed. There are less than 10 people in this small martial arts gym. I don't see how it can be anything special. Look at the Taekwondo gym that opened in our city a while ago. This is a real martial arts gym. There are 109 branches across the country. You have seen how many children go there. You don't think you've seen the world just because you went to college for a few years. The owner of the grain and oil store had a cold face and cursed. Your uncle Dayoung is at a high level. Do you really think he is just a peasant like us? Boy, I warn you that those words you just said in front of me are fine, but if you dare to spread them around, I will beat you to death. Dad, what? Wu Jiantao did not hear the discussions and criticisms of others, as he gently held Chen Jun's soft and delicate hand, and soon arrived at the foot of the back mountain. Although the mountain in our village is not high, it is just a small hill, but it has a name called Wushan. Our martial arts hall is on this mountain, near the Wufeng Tower. Do you see it? Chen Jun nodded and walked up the stone steps step by step. Although the mountain behind was not high, the way up was quite steep, and it was quite strenuous to climb. After a while, her breath became a little hurried. A faint blush appeared on her face, and some sweat appeared on her forehead. Chapter 147. Wufeng Tower, please subscribe and vote for the monthly ticket tilde. Wu Jiantao, who was standing beside him, was slightly moved when he saw this scene. Although the stone steps leading up the mountain were steep, the aura of ordinary people would not change much when they walked here. It seems that Chen Jun's body still hasn't fully recovered. In addition to giving her more foot massages, it would be best to let her practice boxing with me. Wait a minute. Yes, she has been practicing yoga, and she is very, very, very good. The movements are very pleasing to the eye, and the postures are very fitting. I will monitor her closely in the future so that her body can recover faster. He was thinking about this, and Chen Jun beside him immediately noticed. What are you thinking about? I was thinking about you. This guy just opens his mouth. The girl rolled her eyes at him coquettishly. I always feel like you're not thinking of anything good. No way, Wu Jiantao said confidently. I was thinking about your yoga practice. Your physical fitness is a bit poor. Most people wouldn't feel tired after walking here, but you're already out of breath after just a few steps. It seems that your body hasn't fully recovered after giving birth. It's been so long since you left the confinement room, you should exercise more. Yeah. Chen Jun stared at me with her beautiful eyes, and her big, twinkling eyes narrowed slightly. Don't I know you yet? Yes. Wu Jiantao would never admit that he was just thinking about harmony between the chin and the chin. However, over the years, there has been a view on the internet that the origin of yoga is to serve this purpose, and the practice method evolved from it. One of the views is that, although these yoga movements are very beautiful, most of them are very similar to the postures and movements of playing the zither. Of course, different people have different opinions. Although the practice of yoga has only become popular in the new century, it originated in ancient India. Like Chinese martial arts, it has a long history and is unique in its own way. In a few minutes, they climbed to the top of the mountain, and an ancient building that was originally half hidden in the woods appeared in front of them. Red bricks, green tiles, green steps, and stone platforms, and above the gate are written the ancient Chinese characters, Wu Shizin Yi Liu. Before you get close, a sense of leisurely antiquity hits you in the face. On the bluestone ground behind the gate, several of Wu Jiantao's senior brothers and sisters were practicing boxing. The wind from their fists was whistling, and every punch and kick made a shocking noise. Don't you know that we can't just come near here casually? Huh. Suddenly, the senior brother who was standing outside the gate opened his eyes. Just as he was about to warn the person coming, he relaxed immediately after seeing who it was. It turned out to be junior brother. When did you come back? Hello, third brother. I just got back this morning. Oh, my sister-in-law is here too, welcome. Come in and sit down. No, I just came to take a look. By the way, third senior brother, didn't you go to the south with seventh senior brother some time ago? How was it? Speaking of this, the third senior brother's originally happy face suddenly fell. Oh, don't say it, I'm not that kind of person. I'd better stay with Master in the future, and it would be great if I could teach the little kid who came here to learn boxing. Wu Jiantao was a little puzzled. Third senior brother was a professional martial artist after all. He had gone with seventh senior brother and Yuan Long some time ago. Originally, he wanted to try this path, break through the limit and create his own martial arts path. But now it seems that, according to Yuan Long, some people who practice martial arts are too ambitious and have lost their vitality. Before going to the south, they always thought they had never lived. Only after they went there did they realize that they had never died. If you can get through this stage of spirit, even if your martial arts strength doesn't improve, your actual combat power will increase dramatically. But if you can't get through it, most likely you can't get through. Only after going through life and death can one break through this level. Wu Jiantao thought to himself that his third senior brother must have had a very bad experience in the southeast continent. He just didn't know what kind of experience it was that actually directly knocked down his martial arts spirit and prevented him from breaking through. I don't know if my parents know about this. I can ask them later. Wu Jiantao did not come to the martial arts gym to drink tea. He had not been able to practice martial arts before and rarely came to his family's martial arts gym. Even if he practiced boxing and kicking, he always practiced at home. Therefore, he did not stay here for long with Chen Jun and continued to head towards the top of the mountain. Arriving at the top of the mountain, Chen Jun stood in front of the stone tower. The tower was not very tall, only about 5 stories high. A plaque above the gate read, Wu Feng. Frankly speaking, this tower is just an ordinary stone tower. It is not an ancient building from hundreds of years ago, nor does it have any special construction techniques. Only the 2 words, Wu Feng, written on the plaque are so domineering that you can tell at a glance that it was built by a famous artist. Well, the sun came out, and Chen Jun hid in the shade under the tower, feeling the cool breeze blowing from the mountain stream. He couldn't help but relax his whole body and took a long breath of the refreshing mountain air. I have to say that Wu Jiantao's hometown has beautiful scenery. Although the whole village is not very well structured, it is leaning against Wushan Mountain, and there is a river on the side, winding from behind the mountain and flowing through one side of the village's farmland. Across the river were other villages, and further away were endless mountain ranges. Coming here, Chen Jun finally understood that the south was full of mountains and rivers. Water surrounds the mountains surround the homes, the mountains and water surround every household. Wu Jiantao softly recited a childhood ballad. It was said that this ballad was a homesickness poem written by a scholar hundreds of years ago. It was passed down and became a folk song in the surrounding villages, but whether it was true or who wrote it is no longer traceable. What poem are you reading? It's very beautiful. There's more to come. Do you want to listen? Read it to me. Red bricks and green tiles, green steps and stone platforms, green trees swaying gently, a corner of the tree blooms. People come and go, the mist and rain are clear. The flowers bloom and fall without intention. The fragrance is clear and faint. Although I don't quite understand it, it sounds quite nice. Chen Jun nodded, spread his hands in the shade under the tower, turned lightly and gracefully. The curve of his waist was breathtakingly beautiful. Wu Jiantao felt a surge of excitement in his heart and took a few steps forward. But Chen Jun seemed to have sensed someone's thoughts and jumped forward a few times lightly, avoiding his claws. The scenery here is great. I like it very much. Well, when I was a kid, I liked to come here when I was unhappy. Do you want to go up to the tower and see farther? Hey, isn't the gate of the tower locked? I could get in easily when I was a kid. Locking the door was useless to me then, let alone now. Wu Jiantao said with a smile. Chen Jun was stunned. Then how are you going to get up there? Come here, I'll teach you how to get up there. Chapter 148, Examination. Please subscribe and vote for the monthly ticket tilde. After hearing this, the girl really came over, but he suddenly stretched out his hands and hugged her tightly. And then she felt her feet go empty, and the whole person flew into the air. But Wu Jiantao stomped his feet suddenly and jumped up with Chen Jun, perhaps because the two of them were a bit heavy together. The height of the jump was not enough, but this did not pose a problem for him. Wu Jiantao stretched out his hand and gently touched the eaves of the first floor of the tower. With the help of some strength, he easily jumped to the second floor of the tower with Chen Jun. "You scared me." Chen Jun slapped him in an angry manner. The door on the second floor of the tower was not locked. Wu Jiantao pushed open the door and walked into the tower with Chen Jun, then walked up the stairs to the third and fourth floors. This tower has 5 floors, but the 5th floor is very small and people can't go up there. The 4th floor is also quite narrow, so be careful not to hit your head. Arriving at the 4th floor, Chen Jun sat cross-legged on the wooden floor with Wu Jiantao, looking outside with shining eyes. Compared to what I had just seen from the bottom of the tower, I could see farther. In the sunlight, the mountains in the distance were shrouded in mist and clouds. The river behind the mountains meandered among them. There were villages between the mountains and a road winding through the mountain stream. The scenery could not be said to be majestic, but it had a unique beauty that inexplicably made people want to get closer. In the past, my friends and I loved to sit here. Because we were too young at that time, it was a little dangerous, and my dad even beat us a few times. Wu Jiantao said this, and suddenly moved closer, kissing the girl on the cheek. "Hey, what are you doing? Be careful not to be seen." Chen Jun's face turned slightly red, and she pushed the guy away. Almost at the same time, at a window on the second floor of the martial arts hall not far from the top of the mountain, facing the top of the mountain, the second senior sister was holding the latest Huawei phone and taking pictures of the tower. "Haha, I see it. It's worthy of a 100x zoom." "Ouch, we kissed." "Oops, you got pushed away, little junior brother, you have to work harder." "Hey, senior sister, don't watch this alone." "Yeah, and us too. By the way, did the world take photos?" "You're such a fool. If it was just my junior brother, it would be fine, but my sister-in-law is here too. Can I take a picture of her?" Forehead. What? Because they were worried about their 2 babies at home, Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun did not stay on the tower for long. They only sat there for about 20 minutes before going down the tower and going back home. When passing by his family's martial arts gym, Wu Jiantao even greeted them from a distance, but he didn't notice. The expressions on second senior sister and the others' faces were somewhat unnatural. After Wu Jiantao and the others walked away, a senior master in the crowd glared at them. "You guys are too idle, aren't you? All right, let's do 100 frog jumps up the mountain, go. If you don't finish it, no one will think about eating." When he got home, the 2 babies were still sleeping soundly. Wu Jiantao took a look and found that their diapers were still dry and did not need to be changed. As soon as he came back, Wu Jiantao was called to the yard by his father Wu and the old man to test his martial arts training and teach him some sword and shield fighting techniques. Before, Wu Jiantao and the Shadow Brigade's battles were naturally known to Wu's father and grandfather. The grandfather even participated in the creation of the combat tactics of this set of unique weapons. Well, even though the old man is old, and even though he couldn't reach the level of a grandmaster in the end, his martial arts skills accumulated over the years from practicing martial arts on his own, traveling around the world, and even joining the army are definitely not something a young man like Wu Jiantao can compare to. Chen Jun didn't go to sleep either. Instead, she put a small cushion on the floor of the room and started practicing yoga. The lazy afternoon time slipped away quickly. After testing Wu Jiantao, both the old man and Wu's father were very surprised at the boy's progress in martial arts. It was faster than they expected, and this progress was not simply a crude improvement of muscle and bone strength. No matter how big the progress was, it was useless. The more important thing was the mind. You should know that the inheritance of Xinyaquan of their Wu family focuses on the state of mind and is based on the mind method. It cultivates Danshan strength dominated by sinking force. The postures are mostly based on the 5 elements fist, represented by the cross handle and 4 big hammers. It does not focus on the 10 forms, but integrates the 10 forms into the mind and focuses more on the unique strength contained in the 10 forms. This is to get rid of form and focus on strength and to be carried away by success. Wu Jiantao's progress in his mind is rare. He has even begun to practice the level of being carried away by pride. Although he entered this stage unintentionally, it is natural. The father and son only need to guide him a little. This kid's progress in martial arts will surely be smoother. I believe that within a month or so, he will be able to enter the level of perfect strength. The rounded strength is not like the Tai Chi moves where the strength draws a circle, but the strength in the body is centered on the Danshan. The whole person is like a big circle, and the strength can be stored in the Danshin in an instant, bursting out with strength that is several times stronger than before. Masters at this level can use the initial Dan Jin to move the energy in the body, unleashing tiger and leopard thunder sounds in the body to strengthen their muscles and marrow, and also strengthen their internal organs. This is because this process is also the process of practicing the dragon-shaped fist. This practice process is also called the dormant dragon in the ancient Chinese martial arts world. After testing his son, Father Wu sent him aside to practice standing meditation and sat on the other side of the yard with the old man. Xiao Tao's comprehension is unexpectedly good. I didn't expect his progress in mind to be so smooth. It was almost there. Fortunately, this kid worked hard. If it was 2 years later, his martial arts progress in this life would at most be at the level of enlightenment. The old man was not without emotion. It's true that he has strong comprehension, but his body also needs to be strong enough. Otherwise, everything will just be castles in the air. It's strange to say, when he came back last year, his body was as ordinary as it could be. But this year, it's as if he had eaten some rare treasures and suddenly became very strong. Perhaps he really ate something that stimulated his talent potential. Ha ha. The old man smiled happily, waved his hand, and said nonchalantly, "Why bother so much? I just know that this kid is from our Wu family. It doesn't bring shame to our Wu family's Xinyaquan. It's a good thing." The sun was setting, and the afterglow dyed most of the sky red. It was time for dinner not long after school at the village primary school was over. Wu Jiantao felt that he was destined to be a busy person. He looked after 2 babies at noon, practiced martial arts in the afternoon, and now he had to cook. But there's nothing we can do. In the yard over there, Dad and Grandpa are still muttering. "When you go back in a few days, what shall we do if you've spoiled our appetite?" What can I do? From now on, whenever Wu Jiantao is at home, he will be the one to prepare 3 meals a day. Chapter 149. Heart-to-Heart Talk, please subscribe and vote tilde. You know, breakfast in these rural areas is usually very casual, usually just porridge with some pickled vegetables to get by. Just like the Wu family, everyone is a martial artist, so they have some steamed buns for breakfast. For example, for tomorrow's breakfast, Wu Jiantao started preparing it while he was cooking dinner in the evening. Well, he planned to be lazy and make some steamed dumplings, prepare flour, and make fried dough sticks tomorrow morning. This is really lazy. If you really want to make it more sumptuous, you have to put in more effort instead of just making some dumplings. However, xiaolongbao can be made into various flavors. After making them, put them in the freezer of the refrigerator. Steam 1 or 2 baskets the next morning and add soy milk, fried dough sticks, steamed buns, and other things, and you will have a delicious and nutritious breakfast. The dinner was quite sumptuous. Wu Jiantao's cooking skills were as good as ever. Both Wu's father and mother, as well as Chen Jun, performed as usual. There was not a single drop of food left. Of course, it is mainly the 3 martial artists, Wu's father, Wu's mother, and Wu Jiantao. Each person eats as much as 2 or 3 people, and usually eats about 3 bowls of rice. You should know that the bowls in this family are more than twice as big as normal ones. Chen Jun only fills 7/10 of the rice, for fear that he will eat too much if he fills more. To other people, rice is just rice. But to her, this very sweet white rice is a high-carbohydrate food. Wu Jiantao also knew her eating habits and specially cooked some oatmeal and millet porridge. In this rural area, many people cook both white rice and porridge for dinner. Well, in the south, especially in the southern part of Province M, people's diet is relatively light. Many people prefer to drink porridge after a tiring day, especially in summer. After eating a bowl of rice, Chen Jun drank a bowl of porridge and stopped eating. The remaining porridge was eaten by Wu Ma and Wu Jiantao. After dinner, the night fell, and the stars in the sky began to emerge. Walking into the yard and sitting next to Wu Jiantao, Chen Jun, who was sitting down with everyone to enjoy the cool breeze, was surprised to find that there were an unusually large number of stars in the sky. Seeing her looking up at the stars in the sky in surprise, Wu Jiantao said with a smile, "We are not in the city here, so there are relatively not so many city lights. The stars in the sky are not covered by the light on the ground. When it gets later, the stars in the sky will be denser and more beautiful." Chen Jun nodded. In her memory, she could only see the starry sky when she was in her teens. Later, as she grew up, she rarely saw it again. "I never thought that I could see the starry sky I saw as a child again here." Although the night had just fallen, the sky with only a few white clouds was already filled with twinkling stars, which made Chen Jun very happy. Inexplicably, a feeling of reunion after a long separation came over her heart. She seemed to have returned to her not-so-happy childhood. At that time, although her parents were rarely with her during the day, they would still come back at night. even though they came back later and later, and later they simply didn't come back for dinner. Chen Jun was still young at that time, and most of the time she could only cry while eating dinner with the comfort of her grandparents, and then go to the rooftop to look at the stars while waiting for her parents to come back. Waiting and waiting, the stars in the sky twinkled, accompanying herself at that time. Many times she fell asleep in her grandmother's arms. Grandma also said that Mom and Dad were with Zyarajan, but you were asleep at that time, and Mom and Dad would sleep with you when they came back at night. But they came back very late at night and left early in the morning. Gradually, she got used to not seeing her parents from morning to night. At that time, the only ones who accompanied me were my grandparents, and the starry sky that always appeared at night in summer and autumn. It's not just Chen Jun who missed out on that time. Her parents are also filled with regret and guilt. In their entire lives, they had very few moments to hold Chen Jun in their arms. From infancy to learning to walk, to kindergarten, and then to elementary school, most children rarely let their parents hold them when they reach elementary school. All in all, it was just over 5 years. Hugging is the most direct way for babies to express their attachment to their parents. However, most parents will not hug their babies after they learn to walk. Even if the babies actively ask for it, they will refuse. Some parents refuse because they want to cultivate their baby's independent character awareness, while others refuse because they are simply annoyed and feel tired of hugging. So after eliminating these, many parents will be shocked to find that when their children are a little older, they want to hug their children, but their children are unwilling to do so. As they wished, the grown-up children began to have their own ideas and became independent. They were no longer the babies they had been before. There are many regrets in the world, but this is the biggest regret. The night gradually deepened. Even after Chen Jun returned to his room and sat in front of his computer desk, he was still staring blankly at the starry sky outside the window. Jiang Tao. Suddenly, she called softly. "What's wrong?" Wu Jiantao was playing with the two babies in front of the baby's bed. It was already past 9 o'clock in the evening, and he had just changed their diapers. "It's okay. Can we come back often in the future?" Huh? Wu Jiantao was stunned for a moment, then turned around and looked at her in surprise. He then realized that something was wrong with her mood, and quickly came over to hold her slender shoulders. "What's wrong?" "It's okay. I just feel like everything here is just like when I was a kid." "When I was a kid?" "Well, it's a long story." Chen Jun leaned back slightly and leaned into Wu Jiangtao's arms. "It's okay, then just talk slowly." This was the first time he had seen Chen Jun look so weak during their time together. The two of them snuggled together, looking at the starry sky outside the window, and began their first heart-to-heart talk in all the days they had been together. Moreover, it was Chen Jun who took the initiative to open her heart to him. Wu Jiantao listened very carefully. After learning that she had not had a very happy childhood, he could not help but feel a little surprised. But on second thought, it is understandable. One is the president of a listed group company, and the other is the dean of a national research institute. They will inevitably sacrifice their families for their careers and work. Similarly, Wu Jiantao also talked about his childhood, which was a time when he was a naughty kid who got beaten up for all kinds of mischief, like throwing firecrackers into dog shit, which ended up exploding and causing his own family to get beaten up badly, and so on and so forth. Chen Jun was so amused that her body trembled. Chapter 150. Those who understand will understand. Please subscribe and vote tilde. After his jokes, the girl's mood finally improved, and the hand that someone had placed on her belly quietly moved upwards during the conversation. Just as they were about to start going uphill, Chen Jun slapped him in an angry manner and broke free from his claws. "Rogue!" Wu Jiantao withdrew his hand angrily. "The revolution has not yet succeeded. Comrades still need to work hard. By the way, can you lend me your computer? I need to organize some information onto the cloud disk." As she spoke, Chen Jun took out a mobile hard drive from her handbag. "Oh, okay, the password is..." Accompanied by the classic startup sound from the speakers, the computer in the bedroom turned on, and Chen Jun plugged the mobile hard drive into the computer host. She began to organize the information in the mobile hard drive, including some experimental video materials. Well, because these materials are very valuable, she installed their institute's unique anti-virus software on Wu Jiangtao's computer before sorting them out, and cleaned up some trojans and viruses in the computer. This is necessary because the project materials she organized are confidential to the institute and cannot be leaked. But to her surprise, there were no trojans or viruses in the computer. It was very clean, and there was no 380 stuff. Oh, by the way, Chen Jun just remembered that her boyfriend is also a top student in computer science. Although he is not the best in academics, He must be good in all aspects of computer technology, such as programming, Unix, HTML, web markup language, etc. He even knows some basic hacker terminology. On the other side, the two babies had just finished feeding, but they were staring with their big black eyes and were not sleeping yet. Wu Jiantao was holding one in each hand and walking around the room, coaxing them to sleep. She moved the mouse, and the ticking sound of the mouse echoed in the huge room, seeming very peaceful. Time flows slowly. After watching the last experimental video and reviewing the entire experimental steps, Chen Jun finally completed today's work and couldn't help stretching. Suddenly, she noticed that there were many strange playback records in the playback record of this BLA video player. Well, in the experimental record she just played, there was a line that said, IPX 149 pure female college student Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter, Chinese letter, Japanese letter, Japanese letter. What is this? Chen Jun moved the mouse curiously and clicked on the video. The next moment, Chen Jun widened her beautiful eyes, her right hand trembled in fear, and she dropped the entire mouse directly to the ground. Not to mention her, even Wu Jiantao was frightened. He turned around suddenly and saw Chen Jun picking up the mouse from the ground and hurriedly turning off the video. In an instant, the whole room returned to silence. Chen Jun, Wu Jiantao, the two babies had fallen asleep, and he placed them gently in the baby beds, feeling guilty and not daring to look at the beautiful eyes glaring at him. Chen Jun was so embarrassed at this moment that even her ears were red. Well, I have been studying since I was a child and have never seen this. After staring at each other for a long time, someone seemed not to notice the anger on the girl's face and deliberately asked, "Do you like watching this? What a coincidence, I like it too." Before he could finish his sentence, Chen Jun came over and stretched out his hands to pinch him. "You are a hooligan, a pervert, you actually put such on your computer." The two were playing around here when suddenly there was a soft knock on the door. Instantly, the two of them fell silent and turned to look at the door at the same time. Wu Jiantao quickly asked, "Mom, you little brats, keep your voice down. It'll be bad if the neighbors hear you." Wu, it's so infuriating. At this moment, Chen Jun was so ashamed and angry that she wished she died on the spot, then came back to life, and then died again. It was truly too embarrassing. She twisted the soft flesh on someone's waist next to her angrily, twisting it 360 degrees, making Wu Jiantao scream. "Oh my God, you clicked it yourself, can you blame me? It's all your fault, it's all your fault. Who told you to put such a shameless movie on your computer? Huh, you also know this is a porn movie, so why did you order it?" I'm pinching you. Although she hadn't seen it, Chen Jun had never seen a pig run, but she had heard that pork smelled good. Especially her best friend Li Xiaoshan, who was an old driver, naturally watched it often, and sometimes even encouraged her to watch it with her. But Chen Jun was not interested in this, and did not want it to affect her concentration. Because of this, her studies were so advanced, and she was better than Li Xiaoshan in all aspects of her studies. After a while of playing around, Wu Jiantao was surprised to see the girl getting angry out of shame. What era is this? Even serious people must have seen this kind of film to some extent. Even if they don't like the ones that are too straightforward, there are also the ones from Dahan country that are very literary and aesthetic, which can fully satisfy the tastes of different groups of people. Those who understand will understand. Wu Jiantao reached out and touched the girl's shoulder, but she shrank back angrily and rolled her eyes at him angrily. "Don't touch me." The scene just now was a bit violent, and she needed to slow down. In fact, she could understand this. After all, her best friend was also an expert in this field. Sometimes she would get together with Bai Xiaoyuan and talk about this license plate and that teacher. She had vague guesses, but she didn't understand the details. "Don't be angry, you really haven't seen this before." Chen Jun turned away angrily and didn't bother to answer. At this moment, her face was still red and her heart was beating fast. She felt a little dry and sweat was coming out of her forehead and back. "I'm just curious, because it's impossible that young people these days haven't seen it." Wu Jiantao looked at her as if he was looking at some rare treasure. "I really haven't seen it." Chen Jun couldn't help but cover her face. She felt that the scene just now was so scary and a little disgusting. Sorry. Wu Jiantao couldn't help but hug this overly pure and clean girl with joy. "I will delete the content you don't like from your computer right now." Wait a minute." As soon as he turned around, the girl behind him suddenly grabbed his hand. Chapter 151. The Warmth of Home, please subscribe and vote for the monthly ticket tilde. Chen Jun blushed and asked in a low voice, "You just said that young people nowadays have seen it." "Of course. As long as there is an internet connection and a computer, young people will definitely have seen it." Although these things can easily disturb his body and mind, Chen Jun feels that although some things do not necessarily have to follow the crowd, at least you have to understand. Therefore, after expressing their desire to see it for themselves, Wu Jiantao, who was speechless, and the girl, who was still embarrassed, sat back in front of the computer. Turn off the speakers first. She gave someone a reproachful look. I'll turn it off, I'll turn it off. Wu Jiantao turned off the speaker with a grimace. Well, I think it would be better if you start by watching the movies from Dahan country. What? In this way, the two began some strange research and teaching, so that Chen Jun didn't sleep well that night. Even if she fell asleep, she dreamed of herself and Wu Jiangtao's shameless. That night, the body temperatures of both of them were obviously much higher, but Chen Jun's body had not recovered yet and was still very weak. Wu Jiantao could only endure it again and again until dawn when he could no longer bear it. I secretly got up and went to the bathroom to wash my underwear. Well, a passive skill that is not affected by personal will has been activated again. After washing the clothes and hanging them on the balcony, Wu Jiantao returned to the room, only to see Chen Jun still sleeping on the bed, with a heart-beating blush still on her beautiful face. His heart warmed slightly, and he couldn't help but lean over and kiss her. What? You? As soon as she came down from upstairs, Wu Ma came to Wu Jiantao with a serious face. No. Right. Xiaojun's body hasn't recovered yet. Don't be impatient for a moment. It will hurt her. Mom, what are you talking about? Am I such a fool? Of course not. It's good that you know. Xiaojun is a good girl. If she gets hurt in the slightest, I will peel off your skin first without her parents coming. Do you understand? I love her so much. How could I possibly hurt her? Just keep it in mind. Wu Ma waved her hand and said, by the way, I've already made the soy milk. You can prepare the rest of the breakfast. Soon, bursts of white steam emanated from the Wu family's kitchen, and the fresh and sweet aroma of rice and flour also spread. It smells so good. Dad Wu, who had gotten up early and was planning to go to the yard to practice boxing, couldn't help but come to the kitchen. He saw the steamer of steamed buns and dumplings emitting white steam, and the aroma was even stronger. Good morning, Dad. It's rare that you come back so early. Father Wu nodded. Are you ready? If you are, come and fight with me to loosen up your muscles. Wu Jiantao was slightly stunned, then he immediately reacted and nodded. Almost done. Okay then, come over here. Soon, the father and son came to the yard and stood facing each other. Come on, attack with all your might. Whoosh bang. Wu Jiantao didn't say a word. He took a step forward and punched directly at the center line, heading towards his father's chest fiercely and domineeringly. If Wu Jiantao had not really stepped into the threshold of martial arts in the past, he might have hesitated, but now he has achieved success in whole strength and has even begun to enter the realm of whole strength into a circle. He already has an idea of his father's strength, so naturally he did not hold back, but burst out with all his strength. Bump! Wu Dad stretched out his elbow and easily blocked the punch. Immediately, Wu Jiantao kept moving around his father, sometimes punching, sometimes hitting, and even kicking out with very tricky and vicious feet. But Wu's father was defenseless and didn't let him gain any advantage. The fight between the father and son ended in less than a minute. Wu Jiantao took a few steps back, calmed his breath, and a faint white mist rose from his body. This was the result of the explosion of internal strength that had just occurred in his body. After he released the breath he had been holding in, his skin, which had just been tense, relaxed, and the heat and sweat in his body flowed out all at once. Yes, your strength is very overbearing, but it lacks some restraint. You still can't fully contain your strength. Father Wu instructed Wu Jiantao to experience the silk drawing force. You can now experience the silk drawing force more. This aspect of force requires a high level of contained force. If you can contain the silk drawing force without releasing it, and lift light as if it were heavy, you can also achieve the real whole force into a circle and step into the level of Ming Jin, giving rise to Ming Jin. Wu Jiantao pondered for a moment, then asked doubtfully, Father, what is it like to pull out a thread with such force that it is as if it were heavy? The next moment, Wu Dad slowly placed his right hand on his dantian, then clenched his palm, grasped something, and slowly raised it, heavy and dignified, like pulling out the toughest thread from a heavy cloth. To draw the silk, you must first sort out the threads to find the silk in the cocoon, then straighten and pull it, and finally form a point of elastic shaking. Having said that, the pull of Wu Dad's palm was like an arrow that had completed its acceleration, and suddenly turned into an afterimage. Phew! A crisp sound was heard, and Wu Jiantao immediately saw that a small hole the size of a finger had appeared on a leaf of a green plant in front of him. That was the mark left by the pulling force that Wu Dad had just exerted. Is this the power of holding back? Wu Jiantao saw it clearly, and seemed to have realized something. During the past few days at home, Grandpa Wu and Grandma Wu would come over every day, but they mostly came during the day to give massages and moxibustion to the two babies. As the saying goes, an old man in the family is like a treasure. It is even rarer to find a martial arts master and a Chinese medicine expert like the old man. Under his careful care, the eczema on the two babies subsided rapidly in the past few days. Soon, the two lovely babies returned to their previous fair, tender and adorable appearance without any red spots on their faces and bodies. Chen Jun was very grateful to the old man for this, and she was also very touched by Grandma Wu's caring and concern for her over the past few days. In particular, there was one time when this grandmother asked someone to buy some northern yellow persimmons from somewhere. Although it was only a small bag and not many, it was the authentic persimmons from her hometown. The girl was so moved that her eyes turned red. Chen Jun could feel that both Grandpa Wu and Grandma Wu were genuinely concerned about her. They were not just concerned about her for the two babies, but because they were worried that she was a girl and not a local. She must have married here from Kyoto in the north. This is her home, and the previous home will inevitably fade away because both the two little babies and her future husband Wu Jiantao will carry her for the rest of her life. This kind of indifference has nothing to do with emotions or family affection. She still has a place for her father, mother, grandparents in her heart, but the focus of her love has shifted. Chapter 152, Return. Please subscribe and vote tilde. It is foreseeable that Chen Jun will have less time to return to his former home in the future. More than 40 years ago, Grandpa Wu, Grandma Wu, and Dad and Mom Wu all experienced the pain of separation during that period of time. They all knew that in the long, long days to come, this girl would leave her hometown and come here to become their daughter and live in their home. Put yourself in their shoes. They are all people who have understood life. They realized this early on and have spontaneously become Chen Jun's father, mother, grandparents, giving the girl the warmth that a home should have. Both generations sincerely treated Chen Jun as their own daughter and always urged Wu Jiantao to take good care of her. Perhaps the two young people will live in City F most of the time in the future because of work. But City F is not far from City Q. It only takes about an hour to drive from Wu Jiantao's home by bus and train. Although there is a little distance between them, this distance gives this small family just the right amount of space for independence, allowing them to feel more relaxed and at ease. In a blink of an eye, 4 days passed. On the morning of this day, Wu Jiantao, Chen Jun, and others were about to set off back to City F. Xiaojun, come here. These are some bowls of cakes I made specially yesterday. Take them. Grandma Wu handed a small bag of warm sweets to Chen Jun. Grandpa Wu was speechless. He was not a child anymore. Why did he specially make these sweets? Well, thank you, Grandma. Chen Jun took it solemnly. Swish, Wu Jiantao opened the car door and gently placed the two babies on the safety seats in the back seat. Chen Jun also sat in and waved to Wu's father, mother, and grandmother who were still outside. Be careful on the road. Well, you guys go back too. Wu Jiantao waved to his parents and grandparents, sat in the driver's seat, waved to them one last time, and started the car. Chen Jun in the car couldn't help but look back, but saw that Wu's father, Wu's mother, and the grandparents were still standing there, looking at them from a distance and waving at them. She couldn't help but feel sad. It wasn't because she was reluctant to leave the Wu family these days, but everything here always reminded her of the past. Especially during the past few days of getting along, Grandma Wu's expression and attitude towards her always made her think of her own grandmother. That kind of care made her feel like she was back home, back to her grandmother. When Wu Jiantao drove back to the underground parking lot of Yunlu Garden, Chen Jun inexplicably felt that the journey from his hometown to City F was much faster. Strange feeling. She got out of the car first, then carried the two babies out, while Wu Jiantao was responsible for the luggage, baby carriage, and various large and small bags. Only this guy has a better physical fitness than ordinary people, so he can carry so many things with his two hands. Can you lift it? Seeing that he was covered in sweat, Chen Jun asked with concern. Certainly. The two of them were walking towards the elevator, talking and laughing, when they saw an old woman with a little boy of 7 or 8 years old coming from the other side. The little boy was throwing a tantrum, and the old woman, probably his grandmother, was trying to persuade him in a gentle voice. Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun recognized the old lady and the little boy. They lived on the floor above them, in room 1003. Well, this family left a deep impression on them, especially the little boy. He was an absolute naughty kid who was spoiled and caused quite a bit of trouble in the community. Many owners of Building 11 know them. I don't want to. I don't want to go to cram school. Okay, okay. I won't go to cram school. I won't go to cram school. I want to play games. I want to play the video game console. Okay, play. Grandma will open it for you later. Can you open it? Dad has locked it up and you can't open it. You can't do anything. The grandmother and granddaughter walked into the elevator. The little boy was yelling while they were talking. Finally, his yelling scared the two babies. First, Daudu started crying, and then his brother Mio also started crying. Sorry, I'm a child and I didn't know any better. I must have scared the two babies. I'm sorry. The grandmother looked kind and apologized to the two young couples, Wu Jiantao, very easily. She ignored them and turned to comfort her grandson. I don't know how to do it, but your uncle does. I'll call him and ask him to come and prescribe it for you later, okay? Don't shout, you're scaring your brothers and sisters. They are making so much noise. I will shout, I will shout. The little boy had clearly achieved his goal, but he was obviously spoiled by his family. After scaring Daudu and Mio to tears, he not only did not calm down, but continued to yell and scream without giving up. I'm going to scream, please be quiet. At this point, no matter how good-tempered Wu Jianta was, he still had a bottom line. He glanced at the little boy in front of him calmly. Immediately, the naughty child was so frightened that he didn't say a word, and the grandmother apologized again and again. I'm sorry. Our little treasure is usually very obedient. Grandmother. The little boy hugged his grandmother's legs and hid behind her, suddenly becoming very quiet and well-behaved. The old woman was a little surprised. Her grandson had never been afraid of anyone, whether he was out or at home. He never backed down even when his father beat him and made him cry. But at this moment in the elevator, facing Wu Jiantao, he was as obedient as a mouse seeing a cat. The old woman was a little surprised, but she didn't take it to heart. She looked up at Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun and said, "Little Wu and little Chen, you guys just came back from outside. They are all neighbors and are also in the same homeowner group. They see each other every day when they go in and out of the building. It is not surprising that the old lady knows Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun. Yeah, I went back to my hometown. Hey, is the baby's eczema healed?" The old lady was a little surprised when she saw the fair and tender appearance of Daudu and Mio. If she remembered correctly, these two babies had eczema only last week. It looks like you guys have used hormone drugs. Let me tell you, it's normal for babies to have eczema. It's best to use Chinese herbal medicine instead of hormone drugs, otherwise it will cause great harm to the baby. The neighbor grandmother advised them enthusiastically and told them about her various experiences in taking care of her grandson. Chen Jun just smiled and didn't explain much to the neighbor's grandmother's kind advice. Instead, he turned around and glanced at Wu Jiantao beside him. To be honest, the two babies were able to recover so quickly thanks to this guy. Of course, the more important thing was the old man Wu who taught him the Chinese medicine treatment methods behind him. Chapter 153, Mr. Mo is back. Please subscribe and vote for Matilda. She had done a special check on baby eczema. Generally, this kind of skin disease will recur. The better ones will recover in a month or so. However, if not properly cared for, it is very common that it will not heal for several months or even half a year. During the whole treatment process, not only the baby will suffer, but also the parents. This is why the neighbor's grandmother was very surprised to see the two babies recover in just over a week. After all, her grandson also had eczema when he was a cradle, and it took him half a year to recover. During this period, they even used hormone ointment for a long time and went to the hospital several times, but the condition did not improve. Later, at the introduction of friends and relatives, they went to see an old Chinese doctor. They followed the old doctor's advice to adjust the mother's diet during breastfeeding and used some Chinese herbs to make a medicinal soup to rub the baby's body. Only then did the condition gradually get better. Back home, after putting Daudu and Mio on the baby bed, Chen Jun couldn't help rubbing his sore arms. It's so sore. Come here, let me rub it for you. Don't want. Wife, hug me. Wu Jiantao acted like a scoundrel and came over forcefully. Ouch, Chen Jun, blushing, twisted her waist, but he held on tightly with a grimace and refused to let go. At this moment, the two of them were hugging each other quietly in front of the bed. The two babies turned over in the baby bed, and the little babies raised their heads and looked back curiously. What are Dad and Mom doing? As they held each other, someone's hooves began to march against the soft, warm and smooth waist that he had never chased before, and he was going up the hill step by step. But Chen Jun would not indulge him. When they were about to reach the hill, she blushed and buted her forehead against someone's chest, breaking free from his embrace. Pervert hooligan. Thanks for the compliment. Wu Jiantao is shameless. Get lost. Chen Jun was furious and slapped the guy's shoulder hard. but the recoil from the hard and sturdy arm made her delicate palm hurt. Hee, Wu Jiantao was smiling playfully, but suddenly, with a thud, his face turned blue. The next moment, he held his feet and jumped. Seeing this guy jumping up and down with his feet in his arms, Chen Jun realized that the kick he had just given him seemed to be very painful, and he quickly stepped forward to support him. Are you okay? It hurts, big sis. I didn't use much strength, Chen Jun explained, looking down at the wedge-heeled shoes on his feet. You'd rather call this not using much effort? Wu Jiantao took a breath and rubbed the soles of his feet. You deserve it for bullying me. After a while, Wu Jiantao finally recovered and complained to her with a wronged look on his face. No, I feel so wronged. I'm going to tell your grandma that you hit me. What? How can you tell on someone for such a small matter? Chen Jun quickly reached out and held Wu Jiantao's feet. I'll help you massage them, but you are not allowed to tell my grandma. Huh? What a surprise, this is it. Sitting on the edge of the bed, Wu Jiantao leaned against the headboard, feeling the girl's soft and warm palms massaging his feet. He couldn't help but narrow his eyes. Then you massage well and make me feel comfortable, and I won't tell your grandmother. Chen Jun rolled her eyes at him in reproach, knowing that he was just trying to scare her and would not really call her grandmother to tell on her over such a small matter. Smelly. While massaging him, the girl said something with disgust. Where is that? Wu Jiantao came over quickly. His excellent flexibility allowed him to bend down to his feet easily and sniffed them carefully. No smell, ouch. But Chen Jun mischievously lifted his foot, and his big toe actually poked directly into Wu Jiantao's nostril. Puff! The scene just now was so funny that Chen Jun couldn't help laughing and burst out laughing. How brave! Wu Jiantao suddenly turned over and pushed the girl over, and Chen Jun also subconsciously closed her eyes. Well, she originally thought that someone would come to bully her, but after waiting for a while, she only felt her feet itchy. I couldn't help but open my eyes and saw Wu Jiantao holding my feet. For some reason, Chen Jun was really confused, but he saw this guy lower his head and take a bite on his big toe. Tang, her beautiful cheeks were immediately dyed with a heart-warming red, and she couldn't help but pull back her feet. You, what are you doing? No, she just felt weak all over and couldn't pull her feet back for a while. What? Can the mouth that has kissed the feet still be used for kissing? After giving the girl a foot bath-style massage and manipulation, Wu Jiantao came over and wanted to kiss her. Chen Jun didn't know about others, but this was not acceptable to her. After a while of playing around, the two got up from the bed and started bathing the two awake babies. The two babies love taking a bath, especially in the tub. They splash around a lot, and when they are wrapped up and picked up after the bath, they still babble a little unwillingly. However, this unhappiness disappeared after encountering the granary, and he enjoyed eating it happily. After eating, the two babies fell into a deep sleep again. At this time, Wu Jiantao had gone to the kitchen to prepare lunch. Well, it was almost 12 o'clock, and Chen Jun was also hungry. Especially after feeding, the feeling of hunger is more obvious. Are you hungry? Hearing Chen Jun's footsteps coming out of the bedroom and into the living room, Wu Jiantao, who was in the kitchen, said from a distance, I cut some fruit and toast on the table in the living room. Take some to fill your stomach. Lunch will be ready soon. At this moment, the doorbell rang suddenly. Chen Jun was stunned and quickly stood up to open the door. Li Xiaoshan hadn't told them in advance that she was coming over for lunch. Who could be coming? Mom. As soon as she opened the door, she was somewhat surprised to see President Mo and his assistant Xiao Huan standing outside. Well, you're back? How about going to Wu Jiantao's house? No, Mom, when did you come back? Humph, my precious daughter has gone to someone else's house. No matter how busy I am, I will definitely show some concern for her. Ms. Mo walked in while talking. How is it? Are you used to living in Wu Jiantao's hometown these days? She spoke deliberately loudly, obviously for someone in the kitchen to hear. This time, Chen Jun followed Wu Jiantao back to his hometown to stay for a few days. It was impossible to hide such a big thing from President Mo, so he informed her early. After all, this is someone else's home, and Ms. Mo is also the daughter-in-law of the Chen family. Naturally, she knows that when a daughter-in-law follows her husband to her in-law's home, it is common to have some contradictions, conflicts, and even grievances. But Mr. Mo would never allow such a thing to happen to his own daughter. Chapter 154, The Finishing Touch. Please subscribe and vote for the monthly ticket, Tilda. Mom, Chen Jun glared at her with some annoyance. I live very well in Wu Jiantao's hometown. Please stop worrying about me, okay? Pulling my mother to sit down, the mother and daughter began to talk some sweet words. Since they resolved their misunderstandings last time, Mr. Mo's attitude towards his daughter has changed a lot. He is no longer as overbearing as before and takes his daughter's feelings into consideration. Thinking back on her daughter's life from childhood to adulthood, from high school to college, and to now she is working and has a child out of wedlock, she owes her daughter so much, and her daughter's misfortune this year has completely woken her up. Really, that kid's grandparents are really that kind to you. After hearing that Grandma Wu even went out of her hometown to buy persimmons for her, Mr. Mo lowered his voice and said something with some disbelief. Really? Chen Jun said somewhat dissatisfiedly. Why would I lie to you? Okay, that's good. Mr. Mo felt relieved when he saw that she didn't seem to be lying. At this time, Wu Jiantao had finished his work in the kitchen, so he hurried over to greet his future mother-in-law. President Mo was satisfied with his humble and polite appearance. He asked about his next work and also mentioned that he would stay for a while when he came back this time. Mom, aren't you very busy with your work at the group? How come you still have time to come back? What, you seem unhappy that I, your mother, am back? Mr. Mo was dissatisfied. Yes, we are quite comfortable like this now. You will definitely be working remotely when you come back, and you won't be able to help us take care of our 2 babies. Mr. Mo was immediately furious after being blocked by his daughter's words. This girl hasn't even married yet, but how could she be so rude to him? My future mother-in-law is coming, and she will definitely stay here for lunch. But only 2 servings of white rice were cooked, so Wu Jiantao had no choice but to scoop out the cooked white rice and directly make a plate of golden egg fried rice, while at the same time quickly cooking the white rice using the quick cooking mode. Fortunately, as soon as he got home, he started cooking oatmeal and brown rice porridge. This oatmeal brown rice porridge was carefully prepared by Wu Jiantao, adding brown rice, oats, black sesame, red dates, wolfberry, and a little milk. Brown rice is rich in vitamin B, which can also promote gastrointestinal motility, help digestion and nutrient absorption. However, the most important thing is that brown rice can decompose pesticides and other radioactive substances and can effectively prevent the body from absorbing harmful substances. This plays a very important role in Chen Jun's current diet. You know, the baby had eczema before, mainly because Chen Jun had an unhealthy diet and ate too much greasy and fried food. Although she practiced yoga, she spent more time sitting at her desk working. Her diet was not very healthy and she did not exercise enough. She did not exercise much, so her body metabolism was not good enough. As a result, she naturally accumulated a lot of dampness in her body. This would not have much impact on adults, especially since Jiang Tao massaged her feet every day, which also eliminated most of it. But for a small baby, it is a weight that the body cannot bear. Therefore, Wu Jiantao now pays special attention to Chen Jun's diet. He must think carefully about every meal and has even started to write down her diet for a week. This oatmeal and brown rice porridge is also specially made to prevent Chen Jun from taking in harmful substances that are bad for her body. This oatmeal and brown rice porridge is sweet and delicious. When Mr. Mo went to the kitchen to get rice, he smelled the fragrance of porridge and couldn't help but get half a bowl. He finished it in no time and felt his stomach warm and his whole body relaxed and comfortable. Mom, if you like me, drink more. I can't finish all of this by myself. Chen Jun ate the brown rice porridge in her bowl in small sips. It had a light milky aroma and a very unique light sweetness. It was delicious even without any other dishes. President Mo subconsciously turned his head and glanced at Wu Jiantao beside his daughter, only to see him smiling and saying, "Yes, Auntie, this porridge was originally cooked too much. If you like it, just eat more. Xiaojun can't finish it by herself." Okay. Ding dong. During lunch break, Wu Jiantao's WeChat message rang. He picked it up and saw a message from the class WeChat group. Fat Dragon, at everyone, tomorrow is the graduation ceremony. We need to rent graduation gowns. Each person is renting 1 set for $15 a day. Fat Dragon, initiate a group to collect money. Fat Dragon, well, send me the size that suits you, L, XL, XXL, XXXL. I will send them to the teacher later. Jiang paid the group payment. Jiang, I am. Xiao paid the group payment. Xiao Wu, I'm XL brother Jiang, are you back? Our dormitory feels a lot quieter without you here. When will you come back to school? Nong Yi paid the group payment. Nong Yi, I'm XL tilde yes at Yuquan. A few guys from our class basketball team have been looking for you. They said that you were not here and they were being abused badly recently. Ha ha ha. In the living room, Wu Jiantao had just finished standing still. He picked up his phone to reply to messages in the WeChat group, while occasionally glancing at Chen Jun, who was practicing yoga not far in front of him. At this point, the girl went from plank to holding up her entire upper body, pressing her palms, opening her chest, keeping her shoulders back, her calves, knees, and thighs above the mat, into upward dog pose. At this moment, the girl showed the softness of her figure to the fullest. The hills in front were breathtaking, and the back was a winding and moving waist, which was so slender that you could hold it in your hand, and there was a plump line that made people feel hot. It's so beautiful. This guy kept looking around here, while the girl in front closed her eyes, as if she didn't feel his gaze at all and just practiced on her own. Gradually, a blush crept up on Chen Jun's beautiful and peaceful face. She couldn't help but open her eyes and gave the guy a cold look. "Don't stare at me like that. That's weird. You practice yours and I watch mine. What's wrong?" Wu Jiantao is confident and justified. "You, stop staring at me." The girl blushed and turned around angrily. Okay, I won't keep staring at you." Wu Jiantao then retracted his unscrupulous eyes, lowered his head to look at his mobile phone, and opened Li Xiaoshan's WeChat message. "Jiang, are you there? Shanshan came to eat. Yes, mapo tofu and kung pao chicken tonight, thank you." Wu Jiangtao, he is indeed a foodie. Shanshan came to eat. Dog Tao brother, what's the matter with you coming to see me today? Jiang, it's like this. I have something that I'm a little confused about. I want to ask you, if I propose to Xiaorajan, do you think it's better to do it in a big way or find a quiet place with only the two of us? Shanshan came to eat. Stupid, you have been with Xiaorajan for such a long time, but you still don't know her personality. What do you think? Jiang, okay, I got it, thanks, W. Shanshan came to eat. Your thanks are not sincere. Jiang, oh, why does this sentence sound so familiar? What? Chapter 155, Marriage Proposal. Please subscribe and vote tilde. As the relationship continued to heat up, Wu Jiantao could already feel. He and Chen Jun were just one step away from being together, just a little bit. He had mentioned the matter of getting the marriage certificate twice before, intentionally or unintentionally, but Chen Jun just rolled her eyes at him in reproach and did not answer. Recently, Wu Jiantao didn't just take her home to stay for a few days. He was also thinking about what the problem was. Although their relationship was awkward at the beginning, especially after they had children, they gradually became closer during this period of time. Until now, I have taken good care of her and the two babies, and in addition to work, she has also tried her best to be a good mother and even played the role of a wife in advance. Well, she was willing to bring Daodu and Mia with him back to his hometown, and even stayed there for so many days. Except for not addressing Wu Dad and Wu Mom properly, Chen Jun's intentions were obvious enough. But why doesn't she want to get the marriage certificate with me? Especially that night at home, when the two of them had a heart-to-heart talk. Wu Jiantao finally confirmed one thing, that is, the girl was waiting for me to propose to her. Just as he was thinking, his cell phone suddenly rang. He looked down and saw that the caller was from Ryuming Jewelry Official. He picked up the phone immediately. "Hello, are you Mr. Wu?" "I am. The Dream Fate ring you specially ordered online through our official website is ready. Sir, do you want us to deliver it to your door?" "Deliver it to your door? Okay, then you can contact your customer service before and send her the address and delivery time. We will definitely deliver it on time." "Okay, I understand, thank you." "You're welcome, I wish you a happy life." What? Wu Jiantao answered the call very naturally in front of Chen Jun without avoiding her, and Chen Jun didn't care about it either, thinking that this bad guy just bought some express delivery. However, in the afternoon and evening, Chen Jun keenly noticed that someone was acting sneakily and seemed to be doing something shameful. Although Chen Jun is not as delicate as other women, nor as cunning as Li Xiaoshan, she is still a woman after all. After she has invested her emotions, her attention is no longer focused on herself, but on the two babies and Wu Jiantao. The remaining part belongs to herself and her work. Therefore, she noticed it almost as soon as there was the slightest sign of something wrong on Wu Jiantao's side. "What are you hiding secretly?" In the evening after taking care of the two babies, Chen Jun, who had just changed into pajamas, asked suddenly. "Forehead." Wu Jiantao was stunned and blinked innocently. "No, what can I hide?" Tilda. Chen Jun came closer and squinted her beautiful big eyes, examining someone, while he opened his eyes wide, and instead of retreating, he moved forward and licked his face. As he got closer, Chen Jun's face turned red, and he immediately retreated tactically. "Why did I feel like you were sneaking around with that express delivery this afternoon?" "It's an illusion, absolutely an illusion." Wu Jiantao continues to move forward. Japanese letter 3, Japanese letter. Moi. Ahem. The girl's small lips are really soft, continuous, like fruit, and mores. In the past few days, under Wu Jiantao's careful conditioning of 3 meals a day, Chen Jun's stomach and intestines have returned to the best condition. Not only does he not have any bad breath, but his lips and teeth are filled with a faint, fresh, and sweet scent. It is like a cup of the finest tea, which is extremely clear and sweet at first without any bitterness, and then lingers long, refreshing, and delicious. Intoxicating. Is it enough to spend a lifetime tasting it? Wu Jiantao felt that he would never get tired of it in his lifetime. Xiaojun, I like you. He couldn't help but said something softly because of his emotion, and Chen Jun blushed and his heart beat fast. Yeah, I too. What? Wu Jiantao looked at her with a wicked smile, looking at her in a teasing manner. Me too. After all, the girl has always been shy. Even though they have been together for so long and know each other's feelings, she still can't say it out loud. He looked into her eyes, his face full of teasing. Oh, I won't say anything. Chen Jun blushed. Okay, I won't tease you anymore, just tell me. Immediately, Wu Jiantao saw the girl muster up her courage, look at him with a very serious look, and then whispered, I like you too. Is it an illusion? At this moment, Wu Jiantao inexplicably felt like the pile of project work materials on her desk. He pursed his lips and couldn't help but complain. Why do you seem so serious? Like you are taking your project work materials seriously. Chen Jun looked a little embarrassed, but there was nothing she could do. Without bringing in her attitude towards work, she couldn't say a word. Forget it. She didn't say anything more, but raised her head and kissed him for the first time ever. She also gently stretched out her hand, passed her fingers through Wu Jiantao's fingers, and interlocked their fingers. It is better to show it with practical actions than to say so much. At this moment, Wu Jiantao's heart almost melted, and he felt that all his efforts in the past few days had received the best reward from God. The two hugged each other, their hearts connected, and engraved the totem of love in each other's hearts. Perhaps the relationship between the two was just a momentary impulse, and it was also an unexpected beginning. But whether it was Wu Jiantao or Chen Jun, they supported each other in the process of taking care of the baby and walked step by step to where they are today. Life changes like the passing of time. The totem of love, the spread of affection. Intimacy and love is never achieved overnight, nor can it be achieved in an instant. There may be love at first sight, but it is more about the sincere dedication in the process of getting along with each other and the mutual penetration of every bit. Wu Jiantao proposed. Before carrying out this task, he had been very conflicted, thinking over and over again about what romantic form to use, how grand a move to make it, how this and that should be done. But no matter how romantic and beautiful his proposal ceremony was, he always felt that it was not right. He even consulted Li Xiaoshan on this issue before he finally confirmed it. Originally, Wu Jiantao was planning to ask his mother to come over and help take care of the two babies, and then find a reason to take Chen Jun back to M University. Well, he originally wanted to give her the most romantic and grand proposal in front of all the teachers and students in the school when he attended the graduation ceremony, so that she would feel that she was the happiest girl in the world. This could include all the other grand and romantic proposals. In the end, they were all rejected by Wu Jiantao himself. There will be another update in the evening tilde. Chapter 156, another link. Please subscribe and vote tilde. Just as Li Xiaoshan reminded him, Chen Jun was not an ordinary girl. She did not like a proposal ceremony, no matter how grand and ceremonial it was. This girl is focused, independent, serious, and strong-willed. She never cares about too many empty things. Before she really got to know and get along with Wu Jiantao, and before she had two babies, she never cared. She has always been dedicated to her work and the pursuit of her own ideals and goals. After attending the graduation ceremony in the morning, everything was normal in this warm little family. However, in the afternoon, Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun pushed their two babies to the small island in the middle of the river in the community and walked along the plank road along the river to a remote corner on the river bank. There were tall trees, and their family of four were sitting under the shade of the trees facing the river. There was a gentle breeze, and the sound of birds singing could be heard everywhere. Occasionally, you could see a few squirrels running around in the trees. At this moment, Wu Jiantao suddenly took Chen Jun's hand, knelt down on one knee, and then slowly took out a very delicate burgundy heart-shaped box from his pocket. Chen Jun blinked, and before she could react, she heard the serious guy in front of her speak. The first sentence made the girl stunned. Although you were the first to get on this car of love, and brought me two lovely little passengers, they even welded the car door shut, leaving me no chance to get out. But later on, you sincerely asked me to pay for the ticket, and gave me the opportunity to control the steering wheel. Although what he said at the beginning was a bit nonsensical, Wu Jiantao couldn't help but talk about the difficulties they had experienced during their time together. During the confinement period, Chen Jun could hardly sleep well every night. Since she was discharged from the hospital, she has woken up at least 3 times in the middle of the night to feed her baby, and even now she has to wake up at least twice. The disordered sleep and rest schedule made her very anxious for a while. She even had a breakdown in the middle of the night for several nights in a row. She even left her crying baby in front of Wu Jiantao and cried in the bathroom. Wu Jiantao was the same. She hardly slept well every night. While taking care of her and the baby, she was also learning how to take better care of them. He half knelt like this, recounting the many things he had done in taking care of the baby and each other during the time they had been together. I know, you work very hard and try very hard to be a good mother, even. You are already learning to be a good wife. Wu Jiantao held up the diamond ring box in his hand, slowly opened it towards Chen Jun and looked at her very seriously. Now I want to be your legal, qualified, and good husband. Are you willing to marry me? Chen Jun looked at him with her beautiful eyes, then lowered her head to look at the ring that Wu Jiantao handed over and gently extended her hand. I do. Wu Jiantao was overjoyed and quickly took out a ring from the small box and gently put it on the ring finger of her left hand. On the side, Daodu and Mio, who were lying in the stroller, opened their big black eyes and watched the scene with great curiosity. They didn't understand what it meant and just babbled a few times. Wu Jiantao stood up with great joy, hugged the girl into his arms, and spoke softly in her ears with a very magnetic voice. Let's go get the certificate tomorrow. Okay, Chen Jun couldn't help but shrink his neck slightly, feeling his ears hot and itchy. Let's go. With a happy look on his face, he held Chen Jun's hand with one hand and pushed the stroller with the other. When he was about to turn around and leave, the girl stood there motionless, looking at him. What's the matter? Give it to me. Chen Jun stretched out his other white hand and looked at him with a reproachful look on his face. Give you what? Wu Jiantao was stunned, not quite understanding, and then, the next moment his mind couldn't help but go astray. Chen Jun, although she didn't know what he was thinking, how could she not see that he was definitely up to no good? Bang, Chen Jun slapped the guy on the shoulder in a somewhat annoyed manner and said angrily, Ring, what about yours? This ring must be a pair. I want to put it on yours too. This, Wu Jiantao scratched his head and said speechlessly, I didn't bring it with me. No, during the proposal process, and the part where the girl also puts the wedding ring on the boy. How come he doesn't know? Hearing Wu Jiantao's answer, Chen Jun was stunned at first, and then suddenly felt a little uneasy. Could it be that the boy's wedding ring was prepared by the girl? She changed her mind. No, nowadays when boys propose to girls, they will definitely not tell them in advance. It requires careful preparation, and most of the time it is unexpected to give girls a surprise. The ring that Wu Jiantao customized must be a pair, not just one for himself. Chen Jun patted Wu Jiantao in a reproachful manner. How could you not bring such an important thing with you? I want to put it on you too. That doesn't matter. Wu Jiantao shook his head and said with a nonchalant smile, I'll just put it on myself when I get home. Go get it quickly. Chen Jun scolded this guy and wanted to go back and get it, but suddenly frowned and looked at him seriously. Where did you put the ring? I'll put it in the lower drawer of the wardrobe, sandwiched between the two, he said obediently. Then wait for me, take care of the 2 babies. Having said that, Chen Jun actually turned around and walked away in the direction she came from. Wu Jiantao on this side hurriedly pushed the stroller to catch up, but saw the girl turned around and gave him a blank look. Just wait here for a moment, I'll be back soon. At this time, Wu Jiantao suddenly understood the girl's thoughts a little. Soon the girl came back to him, holding another small heart-shaped gift box in her hand. Her breath was a little short and her face was flushed. Obviously, she walked very quickly this time, jogging back and forth. Jiangtao, Chen Jun took the small wedding ring box in her hand and slowly opened it. I also have something to say to you. The girl blushed. These days, you have been preparing 3 meals a day, and you often get up at night to take care of me and the baby. In fact, I don't think I can help you much. But I spent my precious time at home on work projects at the Institute and neglected you and the babies. I'm sorry, I realized a lot of things after the fact. Wu Jiantao looked at her with some surprise and listened to what she said carefully. In the future, I will try not to bring work home. Even if I do, I won't do it in our bedroom. I will arrange my time well. I will also share the care of the baby and the housework with you. I will work hard to learn to be a good mother and a good wife. Chapter 157. Get the certificate, please subscribe and vote Tilda. No wonder when I told her that I would take her and the baby back to my hometown. She was obviously very uncomfortable, but she agreed without much consideration. Originally, he asked just that and never thought that the girl would agree to live with him at home. You know, even until now, they haven't even had a breakthrough in their relationship. It turns out that she actually thought so. After she finished speaking, she picked up the ring, then stared blankly at the boy's hands, and her hands stopped moving inexplicably. Wu Jiangtao, that? Chen Jun stuck out her tongue and asked in a low voice, a little embarrassed. You boys don't seem to wear your rings on your left hand, do you? He immediately laughed and cried. No matter if it's a boy or a girl, they all wear it on the left hand, right? Oh. She then gently put the ring on the ring finger of Wu Jiangtao's left hand. Just like the one on her left hand, Wu Jiangtao's ring fit just right, neither too loose nor too tight. Well, to order wedding rings, he must have measured the sizes of both of their ring fingers in advance. As for when did he measure the girls? Confidential. All right. In fact, it is very simple. He just takes a small, thin rope secretly in the middle of the night while the girl is sleeping soundly, wraps it around her ring finger, takes it off, and secretly measures the length with a ruler. He can get the size of his girlfriend's finger by comparing it with the ring size comparison chart. When customizing, he just needs to inform the professional customization consultant of the size. When Wu Jiangtao was doing this, he repeatedly confirmed that Chen Jun was sleeping soundly before taking action. At the same time, he also had to prevent the baby from waking up and waking up his mother. The next day, as soon as the sun came out, Wu Jiangtao and Chen Jun got up, washed up, and had breakfast. Have you sorted out the baby's things? Wu Jiangtao washed the breakfast dishes in the kitchen and returned to the bedroom, only to see Chen Jun sitting on the edge of the bed, holding her brother Mio and feeding her. It's already arranged and put under the stroller. Well, there is a storage grid under the stroller for 2 babies. The space is quite large and is more than enough for a backpack. Wait a minute, we'll leave once my brother has finished his meal. The girl looked over with a sweet smile. Wu Jiangtao was inexplicably anxious, but he took a long, deep breath and calmed himself down. After a while, the little guy was full, and he carefully took it over and patted Mio's back, then gently put him in the crib. By the way, sister just had her milk, right? Did she burp her? Of course. Chen Jun nodded. Well before, because she was unable to move around easily during the confinement period, Wu Jiangtao had always burped the 2 babies after feeding. There were a few times when Wu Jiangtao was not around, and she forgot to burp the babies after feeding and put them down directly. As a result, the 2 little guys lay down and their stomachs came up and they vomited milk all over themselves. Now it's different from the past. She only learned how to burp the baby in the past 2 weeks. Although she sometimes forgot to do it after feeding at the beginning, it has now become a conditioned reflex. Let me check again. Household registration book, ID card. It's all ready, let's go. Wu Jiangtao opened the backpack under the stroller and checked it one last time before standing up, holding Chen Jun's hand with one hand and pushing the stroller with the other, and walked out. Let's go. The girl's eyes were full of anticipation. Soon they arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau, but they came a little early and the door of the bureau was not open yet. The 2 looked at each other, and then they couldn't help laughing, and they relaxed inexplicably. After all, this is a certificate. It was such an important moment in life that both of them were a little excited, and their hearts were tense all the way over. Why don't we just wander around first? Chen Jun said casually. Wu Jiangtao looked around, and his eyes suddenly fell on a photo studio that had just opened not far away. With his sharp eyes, he immediately saw the clerk who opened the door and moved a poster from inside the store to outside. It clearly states some preferential package information such as taking wedding photos and taking wedding photos. Let's go over there and take a look. His heart moved, and he immediately took Chen Jun's hand and walked over. The girl then noticed this, and her beautiful eyes suddenly lit up as she looked at the beautiful wedding photos in the window of the photo studio. They pushed the door open with their baby. The female clerk who was tidying up the counter looked up and saw the family of 4. She quickly put down the items in her hands, walked over and bowed slightly. Welcome to Golden Branches and Jade Leaves Photography. Hello. When she saw the family of 4 coming in, the female clerk enthusiastically introduced the store's various packages of parent-child wedding photos. At the same time, after learning that the 2 babies were actually twins, she congratulated them continuously and kept introducing them to Jinjiyo, which is a national wedding photography chain with the best photographers in the industry and the top wedding photography brand. I just saw that you guys are taking wedding photos here, right? Yes, as long as you purchase our wedding photography package of this level, you can take wedding photos for free. The female clerk subconsciously introduced it, and then suddenly froze, wait a minute. Then Wu Jiangtao smiled and said, how much does it cost to take wedding photos alone? We plan to take wedding photos first. Well, we are here today to get the marriage certificate. As he spoke, he pointed to the Civil Affairs Bureau across the street. The female clerk. Wait, let me sort it out. She looked at Chen Jun, whose eyebrows and eyes were as beautiful as paintings, then at the two babies who were too cute, and finally at Wu Jiantao, who was relatively ordinary in appearance. You even have a child, and you come here to get the marriage certificate now. She was a little confused. Is there such an operation? No, am I out of touch with this era? This wedding photography chain has been here for some time, and it was one of the first chain brand wedding photography stores. When it first opened here, the business was very popular, and this female clerk has also grown from an initial receptionist to the current deputy store manager and has become a very professional photographer. She has been in this shop for so long and has taken wedding photos for countless couples. She is definitely well informed in this regard. Some come here happily to take wedding photos, and the whole process goes smoothly. Some break up on the spot because of a conflict over trivial matters and simply don't take photos. There are even some who suddenly show up in the scenic area while taking photos and quarrel with them on the spot. There will be another update in the afternoon or evening. Oh, it's so hard to have no manuscripts saved. In the past, I would have updated twice in a row. Please bear with me, Tilda. Chapter 158, Wedding Photography. Please subscribe and vote Tilda. There are all kinds of strange and bizarre things. However, the latter two are only very isolated phenomena. Most couples come happily and leave happily. And now, it is the first time that someone is bringing twins to take wedding photos. The female clerk felt that she had broadened her horizons. Why were they so enthusiastic about their arrival? Because this girl was definitely the most beautiful she had ever seen, bar none. Well, this deputy store manager wants Chen Jun and Wu Jiantao to take a set of wedding photos here for free. Well, the kind that can be put in the window as an advertisement. After all, such a pretty and elegant girl. Well, the boy is also very handsome, and both of them have very good figures. The boy is tall and slender, and the girl is graceful. A model-level clothes rack. You can even give money. With the deputy store manager's happy farewell, Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun walked out of Jinjiyu Wedding Photography holding their beautiful wedding photos. Well, unable to resist the request of the deputy store manager, they still agreed to have the wedding photos taken in their store. Not for free, but the store also had to pay Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun a fee. Of course, their wedding photos will also become promotional photos for their chain of stores. This requires signing a contract. Their wedding photos can only be promoted in their store. If his and Chen Jun's wedding photos appear in other Jinjiyu bridal photography chain stores, or become Jinjiyu's advertising, or are leaked and appear in other places, their store will have to give corresponding compensation and bear the relevant legal responsibilities. After all, they are just the spokespeople for this store, not for this wedding photography brand chain. Of course, with Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun's looks and figures, they are fully qualified. The store's deputy manager came to discuss this from the beginning, but unfortunately Wu Jiantao flatly rejected it, so she could only settle for the next best thing. After taking the wedding photos, Wu Jiantao added the savvy deputy store manager on WeChat. As soon as they added, the other party immediately sent him a contract template and a WeChat message. Mr. Wu, this is the contract template we signed with the model before. It contains all the confidentiality clauses and agreements. I will give you the remuneration according to the current professional model standard. As for the rest, you can also add your requirements to the second party. If possible, please mark the newly added clauses in red and send it to me. If there is no problem, we can sign the contract at any time. The deputy store manager had already handled all of this, and there were even templates for the relevant contracts on the store's computers. Wu Jiantao picked up his phone and replied casually, "Okay, I'll fix it and send it to you later. /O//okay, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me." It has to be said that with the popularization of the civil code over the years, its impact on the current society is really in all aspects. For example, if Wu Jiantao had reached an agreement with the wedding photography company a few years ago, he would definitely have suffered a loss. After the photos are taken, they are sold online, or handed over to the brand headquarters to become promotional materials for the brand chain, etc., trying to maximize the use of their amazing wedding photos. By that time, even if Wu Jiantao knew about it, it would be no problem for him to sue them for compensation. However, the trouble has just begun. These leaked photos will cause great trouble to their lives whether they are spread on the internet or in the photography circle. In the past few years, some girls who like to upload selfies to social platforms have become the targets of cyber violence more than once because of all kinds of rumors spread about a photo. Although these girls finally tried their best to dispel the rumors, and even held the rumor makers accountable and received compensation, Once the rumors spread on the internet, the losses and impacts caused to each party involved were unimaginable. It takes only one mouth to spread a rumor, but it takes a lot of effort to refute it. I'm not just talking. In fact, Wu Jiantao was not even very willing to be the promotional advertisement for their photography store, because this kind of thing was very common on the internet when he was in college. Maybe the store's deputy manager is a law-abiding person, but what if their photographer or some profit-driven employee secretly sells their wedding photos online? It's hard to guard against. However, the deputy store manager's attitude was very sincere. He assured that their wedding photos would not be kept in the store. After being made into advertising materials, if their store needed them in the future, they could contact him through WeChat. Well, according to the contract agreement, if the wedding photography studio has this kind of commercial promotion in the future, they will have to pay. As they walked out of the Golden Branches and Jade Leaves wedding photography studio, Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun saw that the Civil Affairs Bureau diagonally across the street was open. They looked left and right at the passing vehicles and walked over in a hurry. A family of 4 just walked in. Oh, what a beautiful girl. The middle-aged woman working in the Civil Affairs Bureau saw Chen Jun at once and was amazed. Then she was somewhat stunned to see the 2 babies in the stroller. This is... The boy and girl looked so happy. They didn't look like they were getting a divorce. They were getting married. Maybe there were many people like them who got married after having a baby. But this was the first time she had seen someone bring a baby to take wedding photos and get a marriage certificate. Are they twins? After chatting with the 2 of them, the old lady looked at the boy, then at the girl with a happy face, and then at the 2 adorable babies in the stroller. She was extremely envious. At the same time, she gritted her teeth in her heart that she would go home that night to show her son, who was almost 40 and still single, a good show. Well, the old lady took their ID cards and household registration books to register and make copies, and saw that they were 27 and 24 years old. Wow, a girl who is 3 years older than a man is so lucky. Congratulations. Why did you bring the baby here? Chen Jun pursed her lips, handed over a bag of wedding gifts, and said honestly, my mother is busy with work and can't take care of the baby, so my husband and I brought the baby out. This was the first time she called Wu Jiantao husband in front of others. Hearing this name, Wu Jiantao felt his heart melt. He took her hand and squeezed it. The girl turned around, and her big eyes, like autumn water, were full of tears as if they were about to drip. This enthusiastic aunt has worked here for many years and handles various work matters very efficiently. She looked through Chen Jun's physical examination report at the institute half a year ago and Wu Jiantao's professional warrior certification certificate. Well, both of them are in good health and even have a baby, so naturally there is no problem. Chapter 159. Please subscribe and vote for the monthly ticket tilde. Under the solemn witness of the certificate issuing officer of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun, with their baby, solemnly swore an oath under the national flag, and finally each received a small red book. The moment they received the certificate, Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun looked at each other and saw the glittering light in each other's eyes. It is an affection that is so strong that it cannot be dissolved, and full of expectations for future life. Looking at the beautiful and elegant woman in front of him, Wu Jiantao couldn't help but think of what the girl said yesterday. She understands her own efforts, knows and cherishes them immensely, unlike most girls who take these things for granted. This is precious and touching. He couldn't help but lower his head slightly, and the girl also closed her eyes gently. The 2 are inseparable. The certificate issuer on the other side couldn't help but smile as he watched this scene. Congratulations! From now on, you have become a legal couple. I sincerely hope that you can cherish each other, love each other, support each other, and grow old together for the rest of your lives. In fact, whether it was the old lady in the hall outside or the certificate issuer in front of Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun, they had all seen too many joys and sorrows. It could be said that after working here for a few years, they had gradually developed a very cruel understanding of love and marriage. Thanks. Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun nodded to thank the certificate issuer, put away the red booklet as if it were a treasure, handed the other party a bag of gifts, and then turned around and pushed the 2 babies away. When I was leaving, another couple came in to get their marriage certificate and take their oath. The man looks to be at least in his 40s. He is well dressed and his hair is neatly combed. He looks like a rich man, while the girl leaning next to him looks very young, probably only in her 20s. As soon as he came in, the man looked straight at her, his eyes glued to Chen Jun, giving people the feeling that he couldn't be shaken off. Chen Jun had long been accustomed to this and simply ignored it, but Wu Jiantao could not help but frown. When they passed each other, he glanced at the other person with cold eyes. Forehead. This guy was so frightened that he didn't dare to look at Chen Jun and quickly retracted his eyes. Don't forget, Wu Jiantao is now a professional warrior and has killed people before. The look in his eyes and the aura he has are definitely not something an ordinary person can withstand. What are you looking at? The girl next to him finally noticed something was wrong, pinched him angrily, and cursed. You bastard! No wonder you have been distracted from just now until now. Oh no, I'm just curious why you came here to get the marriage certificate with 2 children. Don't come here. Fuck you. Who the hell are you scolding? The noise faded away, and Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun came to the hall outside, looked at each other, shook their heads, and chuckled. In fact, this was not the first time they had encountered such a situation, but the greasy look of the man just now made Wu Jiantao feel very uncomfortable. In the hall, they nodded from a distance to the middle-aged lady who had just received them and said thank you. Then the 2 of them held hands and pushed their 2 babies out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. As soon as they came out, they heard 2 chaotic footsteps behind them. Wu Jiantao gently embraced Chen Jun and moved slightly to the side with the stroller, only to see the man and woman who had just passed by, arguing and chasing each other as they walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. From a distance, people inside and outside the Civil Affairs Bureau were shocked to see. The girl was quite fierce. She took off her high heels and chased the man barefoot. She used the high heels in her hand to hit the man hard and cursed him fiercely, saying things like, "How dare you scold me and hit me? My dad has never hit me since I was a child. I won't get married with you today. I'll beat you to death, damn it." For a moment, this corner of the street became much quieter. This farce left the newlyweds who had happily come here to get their marriage certificates speechless. On the side, not far away, is the district government. This is an old street, and at this moment there are a lot of cars and people coming and going on the road. You haven't been out for a walk for a while, right? Let's go to Zhongshan Road. Wu Jiantao pointed to a crossroads not far away. Okay. A look of excitement immediately appeared on Chen Jun's face. Although she has been working in the research institute and is an absolute academic master, she is still a girl after all. She used to go shopping, buy clothes, and eat dinner with her best friends Li Xiaoshan and Bai Xiaoyuan. It has been almost 3 months since she was discharged from the hospital for childbirth and has not gone out for shopping or relaxation. She is really feeling a little suffocated. Wu Jiantao couldn't help laughing when he saw the girl's shining eyes. As for going out for shopping and playing, he also gradually realized it through his daily interactions with girls. Well, although Chen Jun never said it, girls' preferences in this aspect really don't need to be too obvious. They turned left and walked along the sidewalk toward the intersection. After passing the traffic lights, they arrived at Zhongshan Road, where the flow of people was much greater than before. This is a very famous pedestrian street in F-City. Only electric bicycles and bicycles are allowed to enter the street, and large vehicles are not allowed to enter. Although today is not the weekend, there are still a lot of people coming and going on this pedestrian street in the morning. There were a lot of girls coming and going, dressed very fashionably, each showing off their beautiful youthful figure. It's not an exaggeration to say that there were beautiful girls like clouds, but it's not an exaggeration to say that there were many long legs. Many girls who wore bold and sexy clothes even confidently revealed their slender waists, and their white belly buttons were very eye-catching. The beautiful sight of people coming and going is a feast for the eyes of many middle-aged men on this pedestrian street. However, when Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun pushed the stroller into the street, many people passing by could not help but look in their direction. What a nice view! Although Chen Jun was simply wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and a pair of white sneakers today, her simple outfit could not conceal her amazing charm. In the sunshine, her elegant orchid-like eyebrows and eyes were picturesque. When she was chatting and laughing with Wu Jiantao, her smiling face amazed the passers-by who only met her once. This was also the first time that Wu Jiantao received such courtesy on this street. He felt quite strange, but Chen Jun was calm as usual, as he had long been accustomed to it. Chapter 160 is exposed. Please subscribe and vote for me, Tilda. By the way, if the baby gets hungry later, where can we go to feed him? She looked around and saw that there were shops everywhere, and there seemed to be no place where she could feed her baby. Wu Jiantao thought for a moment and said, "In front of us is Xingyu Square. There is a nursing room next to the toilet in the square. There is hot water inside. We can change the baby's diaper. It's okay. We just went out to feed the baby. They are not hungry so soon." As he spoke, he leaned over and touched the diapers of the 2 babies. "It's only been over an hour since we left the house. Their diapers are still dry. They probably won't be hungry that soon. Let's take our time shopping, Tilda. Chen Jun nodded happily. That dress is nice. Would you like to take a look? The two of them pushed Daodu and Miao Miao along the corridors connecting the buildings on both sides of the street. Suddenly, Wu Jiantao saw the clothes displayed in front of a women's clothing store and thought they were very suitable for Chen Jun, so he said something. The girl also turned her head to take a look, but before she could say anything, a waitress standing in front of the store immediately said, "Welcome. This is our store's newest summer style. It really suits you. You can come in and try it on, Tilda." "No, thank you." Chen Jun nodded politely at her. When they walked away, she couldn't help but give Wu Jiantao a cold look, patted him, and said angrily, "What are you looking at? Does that dress suit me?" He was a little puzzled. "I think the color combination of that skirt is very fashionable and dynamic. You have a great figure, so you can wear it. No, it must look great on you. It's because there are too many colors that it doesn't suit me." Chen Jun suddenly remembered that Bai Xiaoyuan had complained about her boyfriend's taste several times before, saying that he didn't know how to choose clothes, and even bought some clothes online that he thought were suitable for her. Well, the clothes were nice and from a big brand. Any one of them would cost at least 1 or 2,000 yuan, but they just didn't fit. Bai Xiaoyuan couldn't stand the style and tone of those clothes at all, so in the end she had no choice but to return the clothes. But Bai Xiaoyuan's boyfriend has no idea what's going on and never gets tired of it, which makes her laugh and cry. Seeing Wu Jiantao was a little puzzled, Chen Jun further explained, "I can wear that skirt, but don't you think it will look very gorgeous when you wear it?" Wu Jiantao was puzzled. Chen Jun was also somewhat helpless. Suddenly, she saw the brand chain women's clothing store, Neighbor Girl, in front of her, so she pulled him into the store and said, "Come with me. I'll try on 2 sets of clothes for you and you'll know." The two of them pushed a baby stroller and walked into the women's clothing store. "Welcome to the girl next door. How can I help you?" Seeing them come in, a waitress in the store hurried over. When she saw Chen Jun's appearance, an expression of surprise appeared on her face. Chen Jun walked in and picked out 2 or 3 long skirts with sharp eyes. Well, one of them was similar to the one Wu Jiantao had chosen before. The girl put on the skirt first, walked out of the fitting room, looked in the mirror, and said to Wu Jiantao beside her, "Do you think this style suits me?" "Nice." Wu Jiantao nodded vigorously, and the waitress beside him was also amazed and praised repeatedly. "This is the latest popular style this year. The theme is youthful and beautiful. It looks really beautiful on you." Not only them, but also other girls and their boyfriends in the store who were also looking at clothes and trying them on couldn't help but look over here. But Chen Jun didn't care about the surprised looks from other men or the envious and jealous looks from girls. Instead, she changed into another chiffon dress and stood in front of Wu Jiantao. "And now, nice, Chen Jun." She was not willing to give up and changed into another set of completely different style. Although these were all skirts, the differences in color, style, and overall design style naturally brought out very different temperaments. The girl tried on several skirts, which looked good in any of them, but after several changes of clothes, the waitress beside her noticed the difference and strongly recommended the 2 skirts she wore later, rather than the skirt in front, which was mainly youthful in that season. Well, Chen Jun's elegant orchid-like temperament is more suitable for the 2 solid-colored, elegant skirts at the back. Of course, there are many skirts that suit her, but just trying these 2 will show her the best. The girl just put in a little effort. However, when someone saw her changing into different styles of clothes, the only answers she gave were "looks good," "very good looking," and "really looks good." As for the differences between these dresses, which one is more suitable, her answer is, "I think they are all perfect and they are very suitable for you." Well, during these days of getting along, someone's hidden straight male nature was exposed for the first time. In response, Chen Jun rolled her eyes at him, and instead of buying the 2 skirts that she had just tried on and that suited her very well, she pushed the stroller out of the brand women's clothing store. After leaving the store, Wu Jiantao turned around and looked at her while pushing the stroller. "Are you angry?" Chen Jun couldn't help but turn around and looked at him with a serious look. "No, don't you feel that there is any difference between the 3 dresses I wore just now?" He thought about it very seriously and carefully. "Different colors." Forget it, let's end this topic. If she continues talking, she feels that she will not be able to help but quarrel with this guy. What kind of divine vision is this? I can't even make a clear judgment on which one is more suitable for me. Without looking at the overall line design, the difference in style brought by the color is so obvious, but I can't even tell. Snort. Wu Jiantao had been in love before, so he could tell that Chen Jun was angry. Considering what had just happened, he thought again and again. But no matter how he thought about it, He felt that the several dresses Chen Jun had just worn were perfectly matched. Xiaojun, those dresses you tried on just now look really beautiful on you. In my mind, no matter what you wear, it is the most beautiful in the world, so beautiful that it cannot be described in words. The girl couldn't help but curl up the corners of her mouth slightly, but she immediately smoothed it out, turned around and patted him in a somewhat reproachful manner. Okay, what do you mean by the most beautiful thing? You are so cheesy. Continue walking. The little friction caused by someone's clothing problem just revealed disappeared, even though that person's clothing is really. But no matter what, the girl can see the boy's attitude from it. That's enough. Suddenly, Chen Jun stopped walking and pointed to the alley ahead. Look, there's a bookstore over there. Let's go take a look. Chapter 161 running. Please subscribe and vote tilde. On both sides of Zhongshan Road, there are some small alleys in the old city. With the renovation of the old city over the years, the original old houses and old alleys have been transformed into a cultural atmosphere, with flat bluestone roads, some cultural and tourism shops on both sides, and many shops that have existed for quite a long time. The bookstore discovered by Chen Jun looked very old. The other shops nearby had fashionable and bright windows, but this store still had a wooden facade. Not to mention, Chen Jun actually found a few old journals in this old bookstore, and the papers included in them were quite interesting. When he came to the counter to count the money, the bespectacled boss raised his head and looked at the extremely beautiful girl in front of him with some surprise. Do you understand? These are highly academic professional journals. They have been put away for a long time and no one has ever bought them. I didn't expect that today, for the first time ever, someone wanted to buy them and they were two young people. Fine. Chen Jun smiled gently, took out her phone, scanned the code to pay, picked up the bag of books, and put it in the storage compartment under the stroller. During the subsequent stroll, the two of them also walked into some clothing stores and looked around casually. What surprised Wu Jiantao was that Chen Jun did not buy any clothes no matter how beautiful they were or how suitable they were for her. After leaving another store, Wu Jiantao looked at her with some regret. You looked so elegant in that dress just now. Why didn't you buy it? I didn't plan on buying anything when I went out today, Chen Jun said as a matter of course. Also, my waist is still too fat. It hasn't fully recovered to the size before pregnancy. I will buy it after it has fully recovered. She is really different from ordinary girls. Whether she is studying, working, or going out for fun, she is always very purposeful. No plan, no buy. As they walked, they passed through the entire pedestrian street without realizing it. The corridors connecting the buildings on both sides of Zhongshan Road were all air-conditioned, and there were trees on both sides of the road outside the buildings for shelter, so it was not very hot just now. Only after they walked out of Zhongshan Road did they feel the heat of this June day. If it had not been cloudy today, it would have been unbearable hot before noon. Hurry to Xingyu Plaza. It's almost 11 o'clock. Why don't we eat here and then go back? Chen Jun frowned slightly, but Xiaoshan said this morning that she wanted to come to our house for lunch. That's easy, just let her come along, Wu Jiantao said as a matter of course. Then I'll contact her first. Chen Jun took out her phone and sent a WeChat message to her bestie, telling her that they might have to eat out at noon and asking if she wanted to come along. Shanshan came to eat. 3. I'm not feeling well today. I couldn't even go to the research institute. Jun, not feeling well. Are you sick? Shanshan came to eat. My body is not uncomfortable as in FDS, it's just soft. Jun, what's wrong with you? Why are there so many messed up symbols even when you type? Shanshan came to eat. Lying down in front of the computer, my hands are shaking. Jun, the girl was a little anxious and quickly sent a voice message. Are you sick? We'll go back now. Wu Jiantao turned around and asked, what's wrong with Xiaoshan? She seems to be sick. She didn't even go to the institute this morning. What? Wu Jiantao was stunned and quickly took out his cell phone to call his eldest cousin. Well, his girlfriend was sick, and he definitely couldn't stay out of it. Beep, beep, beep. After making 2 consecutive calls, Yuan Huang didn't answer either of them. His brows suddenly furrowed deeply. Chen Jun was also a little anxious and said to Wu Jiantao, Jiantao, let's not eat out. I'm afraid something might happen to her at home alone. Good. He held the girl's hand and pushed the 2 babies to go back. She said anxiously, it will take a long time for us to walk back from here. I'll take care of the babies here. It will be much faster if you drive by yourself. But Wu Jiantao couldn't help but frowned. You are alone. He was not very reassured about leaving Chen Jun and the 2 babies here. I'm fine, please come back soon. At this moment, she received another WeChat message. Shanshan came to eat. You are at Xingyu Plaza, that's great, bring me a cup of lemon tea. At 7 points, thank you, W. Chen Jun, Jun, get lost. Order takeout yourself, we're not going back, Japanese letter. The next moment she called out to her man in annoyance. She's fine, we don't have to worry about her. Chen Jun showed him the WeChat messages that someone had sent him. Wu Jiantao was immediately at a loss whether to laugh or cry. He even had the energy to drink lemon tea. It seemed like everything was fine. It's just a little strange. Is her phone screen broken or something? Hand shaking. At this moment, Chen Jun received another WeChat message on his mobile phone. Shanshan comes to eat. Voice. Wu Jiantao didn't open it but handed it back to his wife. She sent another voice message. Take a look. Chen Jun clicked it speechlessly. Stingy, Lun's family just asked you to bring a cup of lemon tea, 2 cups. Don't make it too sweet, 70%. 70% is fine. This passage of language was mixed with strange background music, which sounded like, what are you doing? You're out of breath. Are you running? Chen Jun didn't realize the problem and sent a voice message back. Shanshan came to eat. Jun, get lost. If I don't bring it to you, we won't go back for lunch. After sending this WeChat message, Chen Jun angrily made a decision. Let's eat here for lunch and not go back. When she turned around, the girl found that her husband had an indescribable strange look on his face. She was stunned and asked, what's wrong? Never mind, it's okay. Wu Jiantao shook his head speechlessly, reached out and took her hand and walked towards the toilet in the square. Let's go change the baby's diaper and feed him first. Otherwise, they might make a fuss later. After changing the baby's diaper and feeding the baby in the nursing room, and taking turns to solve some personal problems, the two pushed the 2 babies to the 3rd floor of the city square. On the other side, Yunlaiyuan Building 11, room 902. Li Xiaoshan, with a ruddy and radiant face, finally got up and changed her clothes. Someone also got dressed and picked up the mobile phone on the bedside. Xiao Tao called me for what reason? Oh, it's okay. Xiaojun and him went to get their marriage certificate this morning. They went shopping in the morning and had lunch outside at noon. They asked us if we wanted to go together. I took nucleic acid test in the morning, so I posted this chapter a little late, sorry Tilda. Chapter 162, Puff Puff Puff. Please subscribe and give me a monthly ticket, Tilda. Get certificate. Yuan Huang was stunned when he heard this, and couldn't help but turn his head to look at Li Xiaoshan beside him. The girl also looked up at him, her charming face still full of rosy red, her eyes full of tears as if they were about to drip. You, what are you doing? I give up, brother, don't do it anymore. Someone was so scared that he shrank slightly, and just like before, he just called out, brother. No. Yuan Huang was speechless. Li Xiaoshan had previously told him in detail about the specific circumstances of Chen Jun and Wu Jiangtao's past, so he naturally knew about it. I mean, it seems like we can get the marriage certificate now. After all, we get a marriage certificate? Li Xiaoshan was stunned. What is a straight man? That's it. It is not possible to just follow suit after seeing what others have done. Li Xiaoshan naturally rolled her eyes at her cousin's suggestion without even probing it. You'd better experience this. Yuan Huang, fortunately, although this guy has low emotional intelligence, he is not a big fool. The girl has already shown it very clearly, so he will naturally not rush to make trouble. Well, during these days together, although the relationship between the two has improved rapidly, and this girl is very enthusiastic about him, but deep down, Li Xiaoshan is a very opinionated, independent, and strong-willed girl. She is relatively conservative about love and marriage. How could she give this guy a very clear answer so easily? Don't say that Li Xiaoshan feels that they haven't reached that stage yet. Even if they have, why don't you propose first? On this issue, Yuan Huang drove his girlfriend to Xingyu Square. While waiting for the traffic light, he sent a WeChat message to Wu Ma to ask her for advice. Wu Ma, are you stupid? Your situation is completely different from Xiao Tao's. How could you see him and Xiao Jun getting married? How could you mention it to a girl so directly? Wu Ma, by the way, how close are you guys now? About this question, he was a little embarrassed, so he said it directly in what he thought was a more obscure way. He is a straight man in his 30s, and he is quite straight, which makes it difficult for him. On the other side, Wu's mother, who was having lunch, saw the WeChat message sent by this guy and almost spit out a mouthful of rice on Wu's father's face. Fortunately, she was also a master with great strength, so she straightened her breath and swallowed the rice. It was quite amazing. Wu Dad, although this ability to control eating smoothly is impressive, it is still uncomfortable for others to watch. Seeing his wife's reaction after glancing at the phone screen, he frowned. What's wrong? Is there any problem with Xiao Tao again? It's not him, it's Xiao Huang. Xiao Huang. Wu Ba was slightly stunned. In his impression, Yuan Huang not only had extraordinary talent in martial arts, but was also a martial arts genius who could reach the level of a grandmaster. He was also a calm, steady, and very reliable person. What's wrong with him? Oh, when this guy saw Tao Tao and Xiaojun getting their marriage certificate, he turned around and asked his girlfriend directly if she wanted to get a marriage certificate as well. Wu Ma sighed. How could he be so straightforward? Father Wu was stunned again. I remember you introduced him and Xiaojun, right? A blind date, can't you even ask? I almost forgot that my husband doesn't seem to be much better in this regard. Rolling her eyes at him, Wu Ma put down her chopsticks and sent a WeChat message to her nephew. Although there is a generation gap between her and today's young people, and she finds it a little hard to understand why Xiaoshan and this boy are in love after just knowing each other for a short time. Their wild and unrestrained love style that progresses rapidly is simply unimaginable in their past era. However, Wu Ma is good at judging people and knows Li Xiaoshan well, so she can help her eldest nephew to some extent. Ding ding dong ding dong, ding ding dong ding dong. The WeChat phone rang. Chen Jun picked up the phone and saw that it was Li Xiaoshan. What? After answering the phone, she said something very impolite. Where are you at Xingyu Plaza? What? Nothing, we came here to look for you and brother Tao. Our eldest cousin is here too. Chen Jun couldn't help but roll his eyes and said calmly, So you're here to treat me? Yes, I've been eating and drinking at your place these days, so we have to show some appreciation, Li Xiaoshan said with a giggle. He. There was no reason to avoid them. Chen Jun and Wu Jiangtao were not on a date, but a family of 4. Chen Jun directly told the girl the restaurant where they had just sat down. After a while, the rosy-faced and charming Li Xiaoshan appeared outside the French window holding Yuan Huang's hand. She walked in briskly and sat down at their table. Oh, little Daodu is awake. Come here, give Auntie a hug. As soon as he appeared, he happily picked up his little sister Daodu, who was struggling to turn over in the stroller but couldn't because the space was too small. The little guy made a meaningless cry, and his black eyes kept looking towards his mother. He was not at ease in Li Xiaoshan's arms. She almost let the little guy break free. Oh, I feel she is so strong. After holding the baby for a while, Li Xiaoshan could only obey the little guy's wishes and handed the baby to Chen Jun. It took more than 10 minutes to drive here from Yunlu Garden. The dishes ordered by Wu Jiangtao and Chen Jun had been served for a while. Yu Wenhuang and Li Xiaoshan naturally ordered some more. The group of 4 were sitting there, eating happily, except for the younger sister Daodu, who insisted on being held by her mother even after waking up, which prevented her from having a good meal. It's okay. Wu Jiangtao feeds Chen Jun himself, so it's not a big problem. However, just as they were wolfing down their food, the little guy in their arms suddenly tensed up and pursed his lips. As soon as the little guy did this, Chen Jun and Wu Jiangtao noticed it and quickly swallowed the food in their mouths. Puff, puff, puff. Although the diapers that people wear on their butts are of very good quality, they cannot isolate odors. You should know that in order to prevent the baby from getting a red bottom, this thing has good water absorption and breathability, and the smell will definitely come out. At the same time, this also prevents parents from not noticing that the baby has poop. You should know that if the baby has poop for a long time and it is not dealt with, it will definitely cause the baby to get a red bottom, and even inflammation and red bumps. Thus, all of a sudden, an indescribable faint sour smell spread to the dining table. Across the dining table, Li Xiaoshan, Yuan Huang, originally they had exerted a lot of energy just now. The chef of this restaurant was obviously a professional and the food he cooked was delicious. They enjoyed the meal very much. But at this moment, the food suddenly lost its flavor. Although the little guy is now drinking milk, his poop doesn't have a strong smell, but it is. Chapter 163, Who is bullying whom? Please subscribe and vote for me, Tilda. Yuan Huang was better. He just stopped for a while and then continued to eat and drink as if nothing had happened, but someone next to him was not feeling well at all. Why on earth did I come here? For a big foodie, the cruelest thing is that you want to eat very much, but suddenly you lose your appetite. Li Xiaoshan was very conflicted. Chen Jun and Wu Jiangtao immediately picked up the baby and went to the nursing room. Well, the baby had pooped and needed to be cleaned quickly and changed into a clean and fresh diaper. In this small room, Wu Jiangtao skillfully took out the box of tissue paper from his backpack, while Chen Jun put Xiao Daodu on the table in the room, unwrapped the blanket, and carefully covered her little belly. Although the weather is very hot now, the air conditioning in this square is very strong. The little one is still too young, and his stomach will catch a cold if he is not careful. Ah, tilde. Chen Jun untied the diaper. The faint sour smell that came to her face made her pretend to be disgusted. She took the soft tissue that Wu Jiantao had wet and wrung out and wiped Daodu's butt while talking to her to attract the little one's attention. Stinky, Mommy is washing Daodu's butt. Don't move. Don't move. If it gets on your clothes, Mommy will spank you. Compared to her brother, the younger sister has always been more active and lively. Just like now, when she was changing her diaper, the little one kept wanting to turn over. In this regard, Chen Jun's experience was already maxed out. She skillfully took a small toy and handed it to the little one, attracting her attention and handling it easily. After cleaning, carefully lift the baby's butt. Take out the old diaper, throw it into the trash can next to you, put a new diaper on it, and finally stick the Velcro on it. Oh, right. Wu Jiantao, who was standing next to him, put the tissue back into his backpack and frowned slightly. Since my sister is defecating now, my brother should be defecating around the same time. Just wash it again. Chen Jun nodded, wrapped Xiao Daodu in a blanket and picked her up again. The two walked out of the nursing room and headed back. What call? In the restaurant, Li Xiaoshan finally overcame the discomfort in her heart and was about to regroup and continue eating when she saw Chen Jun and Wu Jiantao holding Xiao Daodu and returning to the dining table. How about you put Daodu in the car and let her play with the toys by herself? Seeing that Chen Jun was still holding the baby, Wu Jiantao made a suggestion. Okay, I'll try. Xiao Daodu was put in the stroller. Although she was still moving, she just held the teething toy in her hand and kept putting it into her mouth. Seeing this, both parents breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, they didn't have to hold the baby all the time and could have a good meal. Wu Jiantao went to the other side and took a look at his brother's diaper, who was sleeping soundly. Well, the diaper he had just changed in the baby room downstairs was still very dry, and he hadn't even peed on it. As for Chaochu, it probably wouldn't be that fast. Although the two little ones have similar feeding times, there is sometimes a difference in the time they poop. The two of them sat down and in tacit understanding didn't say anything more. Instead, they hurried to eat, lest the older brother poop again and they wouldn't have to wash the little guy's butt and change his diaper before they finished eating. Although they are used to eating while washing the butt and changing the diaper of the poopy little one, they don't feel disgusted, but it is very tiring. Hey, Xiaoshan, are you full already? Chen Jun was eating with a good appetite. Seeing the confused and speechless look on her best friend's face, she asked a question. Forehead. The guy opened his mouth and said speechlessly, You just cleaned the baby's butt and changed the diaper. How come you still have such an appetite now? It doesn't stink, so why don't you have an appetite? Chen Jun looked at her strangely. Wu Jiantao next to her was eating very fast and was not affected at all. But it is a big. Please, can you please not mention that word at the dinner table? She couldn't help but roll her eyes at her best friend. Li Xiaoshan didn't know what to say. It was obvious that this girl might have touched the baby's thing with her fingers when she was cleaning the baby, but now she was still eating so happily, but she didn't allow herself to say that thing. Nonsense. In Chen Jun's opinion, the baby's poop is not the same as the poop in the general sense. No matter what, they had to continue eating. Fortunately, Brother Mia was much more sensible than Daodu. He waited until they finished their meal before he pooped. Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun had anticipated this and took their brother Mio to the nursing room to wash and change. When I returned to the restaurant, Yuan Huang had already gone to the front desk to pay the bill. Someone said they would treat me, so they must have kept their word, even though she was not the one who paid the bill. But what does that matter? Seeing Li Xiaoshan confidently asking her cousin to pay the bill, Chen Jun couldn't stand it anymore and glanced at her. You haven't even gotten married yet? Are you already exploiting and oppressing me? Good. Li Xiaoshan also rolled her eyes at her. You know, who was bullying whom just now. Cough, cough, cough. Hearing this fierce chatter, Yuan Huang beside him couldn't stop coughing. Wu Jiantao was also speechless. As for Chen Jun, who oppresses whom? Who is oppressing whom? Hasn't it been you who has been suppressing Dawang all along? Well, you didn't understand what I was saying at all. Li Xiaoshan sighed and patted Wu Jiantao on the shoulder. Brother, you have to teach Ning's wife more about this aspect. Otherwise, she won't understand what we say in the future. She won't even know who is on top and who is on the bottom. That's enough. Yuan Huang couldn't stand it anymore, so he pulled this girl and said, Don't describe it in such detail. Someone then curled his lips and stopped talking. A group of people walked out of the restaurant. Cousin, we are going home now. What about you? Wu Jiantao said. It's a rare vacation for me, so I plan to go shopping with Xiaoshan first, and then go. Yuan Huang glanced at the girl next to him and saw her smiling and saying, Let's go to the movies, Tilda. As the group was talking, when they reached the second floor, Li Xiaoshan waved goodbye to her eldest cousin and the family of four, then left to go out and play. What on earth does the bullying that Xiaoshan just mentioned mean? Chen Jun was still thinking about what someone had just said. Wu Jiantao saw her tangled expression and couldn't help but cover his face. This girl was too serious. It was okay for work and study, but there was no need to be so serious about this matter. Oh, it doesn't mean anything, that's all it means, you'll understand later. Girl, so what does that mean? Chapter 164, return please subscribe and vote tilde. To be fair, Wu Jiantao still hopes that this girl can be relatively simple. She would be much cuter that way, instead of being like Li Xiaoshan, who made a casual remark and took off from the highway without a trace of taillights. What on earth does that mean? Chen Jun turned around with a look of reproach and said seriously with a look in her eyes, I just want to know more about your communication methods and ideas. I am afraid that I will be out of touch with you in many aspects in the future. I am afraid that we will gradually lose the ability to communicate. I don't want to be like my parents in the future. We don't have much to talk about on weekdays and only have common topics when talking about me. The girl was thoughtful and had always consciously wanted to connect with Wu Jiantao, hoping to have more common topics with him. Seeing that Chen Jun wanted to know so much, Wu Jiantao had no choice but to lean over to her ear and explain softly. Suddenly, the girl's face turned red, and she subconsciously wanted to pinch him, but then put her hand down. What on earth are you thinking? Why do you have to lean towards this aspect for everything? I really can't understand it. Chen Jun was very shy. Wu Jiantao looked at the faint blush on her face and said with a smile, actually later, you will understand. Chen Jun rolled her eyes at him and didn't want to pay any attention to him. Many times, looking at the beautiful woman beside him, Wu Jiantao really couldn't bear it. Until now, the girl has not been 3 months postpartum, her body has not fully recovered, and she can't carry on that kind of life. If the mother does not take proper care of her body after childbirth, it may take up to half a year to recover and then resume her sexual life. However, many of their husbands just follow what Beidou says, that it will take 3 months, and they almost count the time and can't wait to get married when the time comes. The result is that both people feel very uncomfortable, which leads to conflicts, which may further lead to emotional problems, and emotional problems in turn lead to disharmony in this area, thus forming a vicious cycle. Wu Jiantao would not make such a mistake. Let's go buy something to drink tilde. When they reached the first floor, Chen Jun took Wu Jiantao's hand and shook it, acting coquettishly with him for a rare occasion. Even the passers-by couldn't help looking at this scene, and if the boys from M University and the university town who admired her saw it, I'm afraid their eyes would fall out. Okay, what would you like to drink? Lemon tea, over there, the girl said, pointing towards a brand chain bakery and beverage store not far away. This brand is quite famous, and it is also a national chain. It mainly sells coffee, cakes, and bakery products, but the best product of this store is lemon tea. At least 8 out of 10 people who come into this store to buy drinks go for the lemon tea. Wu Jiantao naturally agreed to the girl's request and brought her to the store. Holding hands, the two of them pushed the stroller into the bakery and beverage shop filled with the aroma of bread. There were many people standing in front of the counter, forming 2 lines. The waiter behind the counter was very busy, but he looked very efficient. What about you? What would you like to drink? Well, like you, I want lemon tea, but only 5 cents. 5 points, isn't that too sour? I usually order 7 points. No. Wu Jiantao shook his head. In fact, you can try the 5.1. Although it's a little sour, it's not so sweet, so the aroma and taste of the lemon won't be covered up, and it actually tastes better. Oh. The girl then remembered that her husband was an elite professional chef and was very good at cooking. He would definitely be able to make drinks prepared according to the recipe. Thinking of this, Chen Jun's eyes lit up and he quickly asked, by the way, do you know how to make this kind of tea? Of course. At this point, Wu Jiantao also reacted. You like it? Then I'll make some at home later and put it in the refrigerator. When Xiaoshan and the others come over to eat hot pot in the evening, I'll take it out and drink it with them. However, you should drink less cold things. Try to drink them at room temperature, and it's best to drink them hot, so as to avoid dampness and cold entering the body. Will that taste better than this? In fact, the formula of this drink is similar, and the taste is similar. The most I use is better lemons, so it tastes better and has a stronger lemon aroma. In fact, there is not much difference. Of course, it will definitely suit your taste better, and of course it will taste better. Wu Jiantao explained with a smile. HMMM. Chen Jun nodded expectantly. Soon, it was their turn to order. After ordering 2 cups of lemon tea and waiting for about 7 or 8 minutes, They walked out of the beverage shop pushing a stroller with a cup of lemon tea hanging on it. I have to say that the design of this stroller is very user-friendly. Not only is there a storage compartment under the baby's lying position, but there are also small curved hooks on each side for hanging things. As for why there is only one cup hanging, crash, the sound of ice cubes rolling in the water cup spread. Chen Jun, who was standing next to him, was pushing a baby stroller with one hand and drinking lemon tea with the other, enjoying it very much. Wu Jiantao looked at her and said, "Use your other hand to drink the lemon tea." Chen Jun used her right hand to take the lemon tea for some reason, and before her left hand could even put its hand on the armrest of the stroller, someone took it away in a domineering manner. The kind with fingers interlocked. The girl couldn't help but turn her head and gave him a look with her eyes full of. It doesn't matter whether Chen Jun pushes the stroller or not. Wu Jiantao is able to push the stroller with just one hand. Well, with his current strength, let alone pushing the stroller with one hand, he can easily put Chen Jun on the arm that is pushing the stroller. Don't let him shout next time. When you come out again, remember to keep the hand on whichever side he is on free. The girl remembered this quietly. It was sunny outside, so Wu Jiantao asked Chen Jun to sit down in the lounge area on the first floor of the square, and he drove the car outside. Because he was worried about her having to look after the two babies alone, Wu Jiantao almost ran over and drove the car here. The round trip took less than 2 minutes. Seeing him coming in from the spiral door in a hurry, Chen Jun stood up and pushed the two babies to meet him. "Have you been waiting for a long time?" "No. Let's go." After lowering the cover on the stroller, Wu Jiantao took the girl's hand and pushed the stroller out of the square. As soon as he came out, the hot fire of the summer noon hit him in the face, instantly covering his entire body. Chen Jun felt sweat oozing out of his back. Chapter 165 Hot Pot. Please subscribe and vote tilde. It's so hot. Hurry up and go to the car, it's so hot. Wu Jiantao held the girl's hand and pushed the two babies to the open-air parking lot in the square. Sitting in the car that had long been cooled by the air conditioner, Chen Jun finally felt relieved. She couldn't help but reach out her hand and touch the chests and backs of the two babies. Fortunately, the two babies' body temperatures were normal. They didn't sweat, and they were quite dry. Buzz. Starting the electric car, Wu Jiantao drove skillfully and headed west in the direction he came from. After returning to Yunlu Garden, Wu Jiantao first took Chen Jun back to 903 and put the two sleeping babies in the master bedroom. Well, the two babies fell asleep sweetly in the gently rocking stroller. After doing all this, he went downstairs and went to a fruit shop in the community to buy some fruit. He bought lemons, passion fruits, strawberries, guavas, and other fruits suitable for making fruit tea. Well, now that he has said it, he needs to take action. When I came back from buying some fruit, I saw Chen Jun mopping the floor at home. Didn't we just drag it out a few days ago? It's dirty again. In fact, you can buy a robot vacuum cleaner for your home, so you don't have to spend so much time and effort mopping the floor. No need. A robot vacuum cleaner can't actually reach many blind spots, and we're not very busy right now. I think I should tidy up the house myself to make it more lively, the girl said as a matter of course. Okay, tilde. Wu Jiantao let her do what she wanted and went to the kitchen to start processing the fruits he had bought. In fact, like the lemon tea they ordered in that brand chain store just now, although a lemon was thrown into it, the most important thing is the recipe jam in the mixing process. Even the drink recipe jam of this brand chain is still sold on the internet. Wu Jiantao didn't have a recipe, but he had elite cooking skills, and with a little processing, he was able to create a fruit tea that was even more flavorful than the one in the beverage shop just now. Well, there is some high mountain oolong tea in the freezer that my mom brought from her hometown, which can also be used to make this fruit tea. Soon, Wu Jiantao made the first fruit tea, passion lemon oolong tea. Shake, mix well, and pour into a large glass bottle. The sliced lemons float in it, and the passion fruit particles are also in it. Get close and smell it. It has a light aroma of lemon and passion fruit, as well as a refreshing tea scent. All right. Wu Jiantao put the prepared fruit tea in the safe compartment of the refrigerator, and he can take it out and drink it when he has dinner in the evening. By the way, Xiaojun should not drink it iced. Pour out some, heat it up, and then adjust the taste slightly, otherwise it may taste very sour. Well, at lunch, Li Xiaoshan said that they would have hot pot together in the evening. In the afternoon, she would go to the nearby vegetable market to buy some fresh ingredients, and Wu Jiantao would be responsible for preparing the hot pot soup base and ingredients. In the evening, in addition to the two of them, Bai Xiaoyuan and her boyfriend would also come over to have dinner together, and everyone would have a home-cooked hot pot together. In the past few years, Eating hot pot in the summer might have been rare, but with the opening of various hot pot chain brands all over China, eating hot pot in the summer has become very common. Of course, what they eat is definitely different from that in winter. Li Ziaoshan originally encouraged people to eat extremely spicy meat, but Wu Jiantao shook his head and refused. Although he can eat spicy food, he still has to be careful not to eat too much spicy food when eating hot pot in summer. With elite cooking skills, he also has corresponding requirements for a more balanced and healthy diet. In summer, he prefers light hot pot with a slightly spicy taste. Add more vegetables, mushrooms, and soy products, and avoid too much fish and meat. Especially for the dipping sauce, add more garlic and vinegar. Bacteria are easy to multiply and spread in hot weather. Both of them have the effect of killing bacteria and resisting viral infections, which is good for your health. Thinking of this, Wu Jiantao turned around and left the kitchen and returned to the bedroom. In the room, Chen Jun was standing in front of the closet. She had just changed into a silk pajamas. The off-white pajamas matched her snow-white skin. She was facing away from him. Although the loose pajamas covered her slender waist, the plump, that lined, it is hard to describe in words. It was so good that Wu Jiantao couldn't help but walk forward and stretch out his claws. Chen Jun's body subconsciously stiffened. He turned his head and rolled his eyes at him, then slapped his naughty claws away. "What are you doing?" In this situation, if it were a month ago, the girl would have blushed and felt ashamed. But now, she has naturally begun to adapt to someone's various intimate. "Move. I just want to hug you." Wu Jiantao gently hugged the girl at this time. The girl's bright and tender eyes could not hide her shyness, that was as sparse as the drizzle of rain. She was no longer as resistant to the boy's intimacy as before. Well, that kind of conflict. This time, not only did Chen Jun feel a little overwhelmed, Wu Jiantao was so angry that he went straight into the bathroom, while Chen Jun was like a frightened deer. With a red face, she ran to the living room outside, spread out the yoga mat, turned on the TV, watched the training video, and started practicing yoga. After washing for more than 40 minutes, Wu Jiantao finally suppressed the raging blood and energy, exhaled a long breath, and came outside. The girl in yoga clothes is sitting cross-legged on the yoga mat with her eyes closed. Her body is twisted, with her left elbow on her right knee and her entire upper body twisted from left to right. Hiss! Wu Jiantao couldn't help but take another breath of cold air. This was really unbearable. The next second he forced himself to look away and turned towards the kitchen. "Don't look at what's indecent. Let's start preparing the dragon bone soup base for hot pot, as well as the hot pot garlic vinegar sauce. And stay calm." Calm. Fortunately, as a martial artist, he has the ability to practice to control his distracted mind. Therefore, when he was in the kitchen, immersed in doing things, he also entered another state. His body and mind suddenly became clear as a mirror and settled down. There was still a glimmer of sunset left, and night began to fall. Since the year before last, this major strategic project has finally been completed. The tense minds of everyone in the institute have finally relaxed a lot. Bai Xiaoyuan let out a long breath, feeling a rare sense of leisure and comfort. Tab, tab, tab. Next to her boyfriend Lu Zhou was holding her hand, and the two of them were walking in this beautiful garden community with red willows and green trees. "You know what? Xiaojan's boyfriend." No, he should be her husband now, actually took such good care of Xiaojan and the two babies without hiring a confinement nanny. This is really amazing. Lu Zhou nodded, but said with emotion. "However, I still think that what's more amazing about him is that he was able to get the marriage certificate with Xiaojan so quickly." Chapter 166, Speed 70 miles per hour. Please subscribe and vote. In the eyes of this science god and many men, goddesses like Chen Jun have always been unattainable and difficult to approach. Even if they have children, they always subconsciously feel that such girls are extraordinary, and it is impossible for them to entrust themselves to a boy so easily and get married. "Yeah, I didn't expect that. Thank them properly tonight, otherwise your waist wouldn't have healed so well." At this point, the girl's eyes moved and she glanced at him lightly. The speed is 70 miles per hour. Ever since he got in the car, the shy and introverted him couldn't grab the steering wheel. Lu Zhou shook his head speechlessly and said seriously, "Well, I really have to thank him this time, but I think I should thank you more, because you have the time to accompany me and give me moxibustion in person. Otherwise, I probably don't have the time, and even if I do, I can't stick to it every day." That's it. Hey, isn't that Xiaoran? When they got near Building 11, before they even went downstairs, they saw two familiar figures walking into the corridor carrying large and small bags. Hearing the sound from this side, the two people over there stopped and turned around to look over. As soon as she got closer, Li Xiaoshan snorted. "Oh, what a coincidence, I actually met you here. Yeah, I think I should check the almanac next time I go out." Bai Xiaoyuan was not willing to be outdone. As soon as the two friends met, they started fighting. Lu Zhou and Yuan Huang on the side looked at each other in silence, as they were used to this. They took the elevator to the 9th floor and soon arrived at the door of 903. Ding dong, ding dong. After ringing the pleasant doorbell, the door soon opened, and a beautiful face with picturesque eyebrows, red lips, and white teeth appeared in front of everyone. "Here I come." The girl smiled and opened the door, welcoming the four of them in. As soon as she came in, Li Xiaoshan couldn't help but raise her nose and sniffed. "It smells like bone soup, and the aroma of some sour vinegar ingredients, wow. It looks like I can have a very delicious dinner tonight." The people nearby were speechless. They were indeed foodies. When they first came in, they could only smell the aroma of bone soup in the air. As for the smell of sour vinegar ingredients, they didn't smell anything. These days, even being a foodie has its limits. Hey, how can you sneak into someone's kitchen as soon as you have guests? You are so shameless." Soon, they all gathered around the small table on the balcony, sitting on small stools around the steaming hot pot. "Xiaojuan, tell Brother Tao to stop working and come sit down and have a meal together." Li Xiaoshan looked at the two hot pots in front of her, one with original bone soup, and the other with a slightly spicy soup base with a hint of red chili oil floating on it. The various foods on top were already bubbling in the boiling soup, giving off an enticing food aroma. "Come on." The next moment, Wu Jiantao was seen holding a plate with a glass pot on it, which was filled with lemon slices and passion fruit, and a cup of room-temperature wine. "This is." The two girls here took a closer look, and immediately showed a hint of joy on their faces. "Passion lemon oolong tea." Wu Jiantao came over and put down the pot of fruit tea, distributed cups to everyone, and then handed the bottle of fruit tea that he had taken out earlier and brought to room temperature to Chen Jun. "It's been chilled in the fridge this afternoon, so pour it yourself if you want to drink it." Next, everyone really ate the delicious hot pot with refreshing and sweet passion lemon oolong tea. "Come to think of it, I still haven't thanked you two since the last incident. Today, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to you." As he spoke, Lu Zhou picked up the fruit tea in his hand, a little embarrassed. "Tea instead of wine? Thank you for your kindness. If you need anything in the future, just come to me." "These are what we should do. It involves state secrets. I am a people's policeman. Although Xiao Tao was temporarily recruited, he is also one of us. We have to do what is right. Come on, let's go." Yuan Huang also picked up the fruit tea, and the three grown men clinked their glasses and drank it all in one gulp. "By the way, your waist should not hurt now, right?" Wu Jiantao looked at Lu Zhou's face. His dark circles were not as severe as before, and his face was not as pale. He should be much better now. Li Xiaoshan, who was standing next to her, nodded towards Bai Xiaoyuan and said with a wicked smile, "As for whether his waist is healed or not, I think you shouldn't ask him. You should ask her." "Get out." Bai Xiaoyuan blushed and gave the fellow a fierce look. Then, with a roll of her eyes, she suddenly smiled and said, "Speaking of this, I also want to ask you two how it feels to be first blood." In an instant, the entire table fell silent. I have to say, once this girl starts driving fast, there is really no chance for male compatriots to survive. Lai Xiushan was not to be outdone and started racing too. Everything she said was censored into symbols, and the whole scene was almost unbearable. Yuan Huang and Lu Zhou quickly grabbed the two girls and said, Okay. Among the crowd, Chen Jun looked puzzled as to what Bai Xiaoyuan meant by first blood, while Wu Jiantao beside him couldn't help but cover his face. As for Lu Zhou, he couldn't help but look at Yuan Huang with a strange look. Lu Zhou knew that the man in front of him was the captain of the security team. Although he looked very young, he must be at least 30 years old, right? As for Yuan Huang's younger cousin, he was fine. He knew that his cousin had devoted himself to martial arts since he was young, and with his training in martial arts, his concentration was terrifyingly strong. Therefore, he was just a little embarrassed and did not find it incredible. After finally getting off the car, they quickly talked about other topics, not letting the two girls dwell on this issue anymore. They couldn't talk about state affairs and family affairs, or talk about family affairs and house. Cough. Don't say anything indecent. Don't say anything indecent. Oh, Xiao Tao, I heard from my second aunt that you are about to enter the level of whole energy into a circle. Yuan Huang's expression straightened, and he looked at him with interest. Well, we are just one step away from an opportunity, Wu Jiantao said calmly. Progress in martial arts is not about killing monsters and leveling up. The most important thing to avoid is arrogance. The more anxious you are to improve, the more counterproductive it will be. At his current level of martial arts, he can no longer get through it by simply practicing. These 2 days, he happened to find a book on his wife's bookshelf and saw a very interesting sentence. The heart is sharp, not broad. It sticks to every point but does not move. In theory, this kind of spiritual literature is hard to impress him. But the martial arts process of progressing from integration to wholeness, from wholeness to circle, and from circle to transformation, this step-by-step process is also a transformation of body and mind to some extent. And to go from whole to circle is the beginning of the practice of the mind, and the practice of the mind requires understanding. Chapter 167, New mission. Please subscribe and vote tilde. At this time, he cannot be too aggressive in his martial arts training, nor can he just practice hard. Well, how should I put it? It contains some of the Buddhist philosophy of let go in time, opportunities are rare. And this sentence, the heart is sharp, not broad, it persists at every point but does not wander, touched him a lot, and he began to consciously polish his mood. Wu Jiantao also shared this with his eldest cousin, wanting to ask him if this kind of mind cultivation was right. Is it right? Actually, I can't give you a very definite answer. Yuan Huang listened to him talk about his recent spiritual practice and pondered for a moment. But you just said that letting go of your mind and changing and breaking through yourself from a broader and more tolerant perspective should be feasible. Cousin, how did you break through before? Wu Jiantao was very curious. But the cousin smiled bitterly and shook his head. In fact, when I was entering the circle of strength, I didn't understand the cultivation of my mind at all. Although my master gave me some advice, I just didn't understand. What, even my dad's advice can't help you? Wu Jiantao was shocked and very surprised. As Yuan Huang continued to tell the story, he came to a deeper understanding. The training and practice of martial arts mind is not something that can be easily influenced or instructed by outsiders. As his master, Wu Ba actually gives him very limited help. Yuan Huang said in a deep voice, "When one reaches this level of cultivation, it can only be understood but not described. It is a mysterious state of mind. Those who understand will understand, and those who don't understand will not understand even if you explain it to the sky. In our martial arts world, perhaps only people at the heavenly level like Bodhidharma, Wang Qingyang, Zhang Sanfeng, etc., can guide others to break through this bottleneck." Oh, Wu Jiantao nodded, as if he had realized something. To put it simply, what's yours is yours and no one else can replace you. That's right, everyone's mind is different. No one can copy other people's martial arts experience. Our systematic division of martial arts realms is actually a series of coordinates. And every warrior who reaches the corresponding position coordinate must have a different path, especially in mind. In the evening breeze, they had a very enjoyable dinner. Yuan Huang and Lu Zhou consciously got up to clean up the dishes and went to the kitchen to wash the pots and dishes. The 3 girls and Wu Jiantao were sitting on the balcony, chatting. "The fruit tea you made today is amazing. I think if you come up with a recipe and put it online, it will definitely be a bestseller." Bai Xiaoyuan was full of praise for the passion fruit lemon oolong tea, prepared by Wu Jiantao himself. Hearing this, Li Xiaoshan's eyes lit up. "Yes, my Douyin account has more than 100,000 fans. Why don't you prepare a few fruit tea recipes and put them on my Douyin window to sell? I can split the profit 40% to 60%. Even if I split the profit 30% to 70%, that's fine? I'll go online and see how other people's similar recipes are priced." Yes. Even if it doesn't sell out, it's not bad to make some money to buy milk powder. At the critical moment, the system that hadn't popped up for a while spoke again in his mind. Ding dong, just a fruit tea recipe. My elite chef will come out and sell it out immediately. Publish the daily cooking task for dads. Research at least 10 nutritious, healthy, and delicious tea recipes and sell them online. Mission goal, sell 100,000 copies online. Completion reward, 56 postures of secret yoga. P.S. You can receive the first 13 postures of secret yoga by accepting the mission. Do you accept the mission? YN. Wu Jiantao was somewhat speechless when he heard about this daily task issued by the Super Dad system. In fact, during this period of time, the Super Dad system in his mind was more about giving some rewards when he took care of Chen Jun or the 2 babies and accomplished some hidden tasks, such as completing milestones like washing the babies' butts. The rewards are all red envelopes of virtual currency or stock operations, most of which are from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. For example, the special ability of the back heaven and earth that the system rewarded to me when I fought against the Shadow Brigade before is very rare. And this mission, it didn't seem to matter whether he accepted it or not. Just as he was hesitating whether to refuse the task, he subconsciously checked the general introduction of the so-called 56 postures of Tantric Yoga. Then he accepted it without hesitation. Well, the 56 postures of Tantric Yoga are not ordinary yoga, but a very unique practice method of Tantra. It just so happens that Chen Jun, who already has a good foundation in yoga, will definitely be able to get started quickly, and his body will surely recover quickly, and Wu Jiantao will also benefit from it. Cough, cough. As for the girls, they must have benefited a lot as well. Not only could their bodies recover quickly, but their muscle and bone strength and physical fitness could also be improved. With persistent practice and training, they might even have the chance to acquire the physical fitness of a professional-level warrior. As soon as he accepted the task, the practice of the first 13 postures of Tantric Yoga emerged in Wu Jiantao's mind. It actually comes with unique breathing and meditation methods. It is indeed worthy of being the unique practice of Tantra. From the introduction, this practice can not only regulate the body and mind, but also strengthen the muscles and marrow, nourish the essence and nourish the qi. It is quite amazing. Well, Wu Jiantao may even have a chance to become a martial arts master in the future. If Chen Jun had always been a weak woman, the two of them would definitely not be harmonious in some ways. Of course, she was fine, but mainly Wu Jiantao, as he continued to improve his martial arts, his body's qi and blood would definitely become stronger and stronger. Therefore, if practicing this secret yoga can help girls improve their physical fitness, it is still very necessary. These things in the brain seem long, but in fact they are just a matter of a thought. In front of them, Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun saw Li Xiaorashan take out her mobile phone, open TikTok, click on the homepage of her TikTok account, and hand it to them. Here, look, I didn't lie, did I? I have over 190,000 fans. As long as you put it in my window, I'll promote it during the live broadcast. As long as someone buys it, it will surely sell very well after word of mouth spreads. How do you think? Well, okay, I've been working on 10 fruit tea recipes these past 2 days. I'll think about it and make the flavors of these fruit teas cover a wider range. Li Xiaorashan smiled sweetly, then it settled. Good. What? Lu Zhou and Yu Wenwang washed the pots and pans and came out of the kitchen. When they returned to the balcony, they saw 3 girls laughing together. They seemed to have encountered something funny. They sat down and asked curiously, Chapter 168, ouch. Please subscribe and vote for me, Tilda. Look in our campus wall WeChat group. A senior girl who is about to graduate just posted a message in it looking for a boyfriend. She just posted it. You guys can take a look too. As she spoke, Li Xiaorashan sent the chat history over, and they couldn't help laughing after seeing it. It turned out that a classmate from a female dormitory in the senior year had sent out the height and weight of her roommates, saying that she wanted to find boyfriends for them. However, the height and weight of her roommates were all heavyweights. If we only look at their height, they were not short, all around 1.7 meters, but their average weight was over 100 kilograms. Well, it's 100 kilograms, not 100 caddies. Then a boy in the campus wall WeChat group said, Classmate, this is the campus wall, not a load-bearing wall. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole group fell into a sea of joy. This guy nicknamed Fat Dragon is really a talent. Li Xiaorashan slammed the table and laughed, but Chen Jun next to her looked a little familiar. Suddenly, she remembered and turned to look at Wu Jiantao next to her. I remember your roommate's name seemed to be Fat Dragon. Could it be him? It's him. Wu Jiantao shook his head speechlessly. This nickname refers to his roommate and best friend Fat Long. What? The night gradually deepened, and before I knew it, it was 9 o'clock. Okay, we should retreat. Bai Xiaoyuan pulled her boyfriend Lu Zhou to stand up and said goodbye. Thank you for your hospitality tonight. Your cooking skills are really amazing. The soup base is really delicious, and the dipping sauce is also very delicious. I give you a thumbs up. Hey, did you miss something? Li Xiaorashan next to her said dissatisfiedly. Ning, have you forgotten that all the fresh ingredients on the table tonight were bought by me at the vegetable market? And then I asked my boyfriend to bring them over with great effort. What's missing? Bai Xiaoyuan pretended to know nothing and looked at her innocently, blinking her eyes. Mimi, I bought all this delicious food at the market. Oh, that's right, Bai Xiaoyuan suddenly realized. Li Xiaorashan on the opposite side also nodded. Just as she was waiting for her to thank him in person, she turned around and said to her boyfriend, Thank you for taking the trouble to come all the way from the market to bring this here last night. Let's go. Li Xiaorashan, so you're thanking Wu Jiantao and my boyfriend, but not me, right? She was about to start blasting, but Bai Xiaoyuan didn't give her another chance. Instead, she dragged her boyfriend away and ran away, smiling arrogantly as she left. Wow, Someone here is so angry that he is waving his teeth and shouting at the enemy general. Don't run away. Let's fight for another 300 rounds. Tonight, the two fake sisters battled wits and courage for the whole night, and Li Xiaorashan had the upper hand all the time. Unexpectedly, Bai Xiaoyuan suddenly won back at the end, and she immediately felt bad. Ah, it's all your fault. Why did you drag me into this? I won't be able to sleep well at night like this. Li Xiaoshan punched Yu Wenwang next to her. It looked like she was venting her anger on him, but in fact, that angry look was more like she was acting like a spoiled child, telling her boyfriend that she was angry and hard to appease, so why don't you come and appease her? Ouch. Yuan Huang quickly pulled the girl and said all kinds of coaxing words. Well, although the two of them had not been in love for a long time, under someone's training, this straight man who had been solo since birth had been trained well, and could even occasionally speak a few words of car language, for example. Back to 902, although the boyfriend took a long time to calm down, I don't know if the girl was really angry or just pretending to be angry. Her little face was still puffed up, and she looked very cute when she was angry. Then I will be so angry that I won't be able to sleep at night. No, I'm sure you won't be unable to sleep. Yuan Huang moved closer to her and spoke softly. Huh. Smelling the fumes on herself, the girl was disgusted and wanted to take a shower. She turned around and looked at him. Are you so sure that I won't be so angry that I can't sleep? Yes, Yuan Huang said as a matter of course. Of course, you have no energy and no thoughts, so you definitely won't be so angry that you can't sleep. Ouch. The girl finally reacted, and immediately her beautiful eyes showed a faint smile. She gave her boyfriend a tactful look and said, Not bad, you have improved, Tilda. This voice is kind of tempting. Yuan Huang immediately felt a little overwhelmed, and suddenly came over and stared at her with a fierce look. What? The girl had no awareness of being a little lamb. She raised her chin and responded back with her eyes filled with charming charm. In her opinion, she has been exercising for many years, is good at long-distance running, has good physical strength, and even participated in the international marathon and won a good place. Although she was indeed very tired in the morning, she has now fully recovered. Well, she has always paid great attention to physical training. In terms of endurance alone, most people in the martial arts department are not as good as her. As the saying goes, isn't this the dialectical relationship between cattle and land? What's more, I have fully recovered now, and in the morning. She thought about it carefully. Humph, I just don't believe Ning can still. Yuan Huang was not polite in this regard. Well, saving water for the country is everyone's responsibility. 903 here. Wu Jiantao was instructing Chen Jun on the movements of Tibetan yoga from the 1st to the 13th posture. Chen Jun sometimes did not quite understand the key points of some movements, so Wu Jiantao demonstrated them himself. Still breathing, pay attention to what I just told you. As he spoke, Wu Jiantao gently stroked the girl's belly. At this moment, his mind was calm and he had nothing else to think about. But at the moment when he placed his warm palm on her, the girl's face couldn't help but turn a bewitching red, and her pair of big eyes like autumn water seemed to have a little more smoke. Focus! Suddenly, Wu Jiantao's calm and peaceful voice was heard, and the girl's spirit was shocked. She kept adjusting her movements and practicing yoga strictly and regularly according to the requirements of her husband. I have already taught you the dynamic and static exercises of this secret yoga. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Although it is a bit difficult, you have the basic skills and can get started quickly. The only thing you need to learn is the breathing method and meditation. As he was talking, Wu Jiantao suddenly shut up and stopped talking nonsense because, at this moment, the girl in front of him had already completed the first pose very well. She was lying on the yoga mat, breathing long and deep, with her eyes closed, exuding a sense of tranquility and remoteness. Chapter 169. Unwilling to be outdone, please subscribe and vote for me, Tilda. Apparently, her meditation has reached the threshold. Seeing this scene, Wu Jiantao couldn't help but smile. To be honest, the spiritual meditation method in this secret yoga practice gave him a lot of inspiration. It can actually be verified with the mind and intention skills summarized by several generations of his Wu family's mind and intention boxing. He benefited greatly from it. Therefore, he was able to give Chen Jun good guidance on meditation. Well, if the girl's yoga practice before could only be regarded as physical exercise, then now it has begun to look like spiritual practice. According to Wu Jiantao's estimation, if she can persevere in practicing this secret yoga every day, within half a year, her physical fitness will definitely be improved to the level of full penetration. I have to say that the products produced by the system must be top-notch. The 56 postures of secret yoga are very extraordinary, especially the meditation method therein, which can be practiced separately and can be perfectly integrated into his standing meditation practice. In this way, he can integrate the physical practice of Kung Fu with the mental practice, making the two more harmonious. The entry of strength into the circle is actually a further step of self-control over the body and mind. This transformation is a qualitative change. Originally, no matter how much practice he did on his muscles and bones, it would be useless. At most, he could just maintain it every day. More practice might even be counterproductive. But now with the meditation practice method in Tantric Yoga, he can increase his practice of standing meditation again and continue to improve his skills. Very good. Wu Jiantao stood up and stood in the living room in the Wu family's Zini Hunyuan Wuji stance, visualizing slowly in his mind and naturally using the unique meditation method of Tibetan yoga. Well, the system directly instilled this yoga practice into his brain. He got it right away with ease. Well, this 56 posture meditation in Tantric Yoga is a very unique method of visualization. What Wu Jiantao himself visualized, and even what he taught his wife to visualize, was water. The heart is like a lake at the beginning. The pure and flawless thoughts are like the first light of the morning, neither increasing nor decreasing, neither strong nor weak. A lake, the sky is shining in deep blue, the earth is soaked in a hint of yellow earth. The lake's surface is like a mirror, and there is always a huge flash of water in it, with undercurrents of thoughts in your heart. As soon as Wu Jiantao began practicing this method of visualization, his mind began to stir. At this moment, the muscles and bones in his body seemed to have their own lives, floating gently with his breathing. Slowly, a sound like thunder emerged from his body and spread throughout the large living room illuminated by the soft moonlight. Chen Jun beside him seemed unaware and just sat there calmly. The highest good is like water. Water benefits all things without contention. In the 1970s, China had a martial arts master named Li Feilong who was famous in both the East and the West. When facing an interview with a reporter from the United States, he said frankly, "The ultimate secret of martial arts is to express oneself truthfully. If you want a punch, you punch. Once the intention comes out, the body follows. The practice of martial arts is the integration and evolution of body and mind at a higher level from the beginning. Being handy is one of the aspects, and the higher level of transformation is the spiritual leap. The best way to make a spiritual leap is to turn your mind into water because water is invisible. Therefore, you can't catch it and you can't hurt it with your fist, so be soft and flexible like water. Empty your mind. Be invisible and formless like water. Pour water into a cup, it becomes the shape of the cup. Pour water into a bottle, it becomes the shape of the bottle. Pour water into a teapot, it becomes the shape of the teapot. Water can flow quietly or it can rush violently. Be like water, my friend." Before, Wu Jiantao could only understand what Senior Li Feilong said, but he didn't know how to put it into practice and truly apply it to martial arts. When he combined the 56 meditation postures of Tantric Yoga with the standing meditation of his family's martial arts, he inadvertently promoted his own transformation of the mind. 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, or 2 weeks. Time flies quickly, and many people are changing. For example, Li Xiaoshan, despite her extremely busy work at the Research Institute, still does not give up her 10-kilometer long distance running at least 5 times a week. In addition, after listening to Chen Jun's talk about the miraculous changes in her body after practicing Tantric Yoga, this girl even practices the 56 postures of Tantric Yoga with her. Well, as I spend these days with Yuan Huang and communicate with him, this girl now has a very deep understanding of how powerful a star-level warrior is. Therefore, she now feels very urgently that she needs to further improve her physical fitness. The two best friends, Chen Jun, are independent and strong-willed, while Li Xiaoshan is unwilling to give up. People down. These days, the fruit tea recipes carefully prepared by Wu Jiantao have also been posted on the window of Li Xiaoshan's personal TikTok account. It is not just as simple as text information. He also filmed the process of making fruit tea from each recipe, compiled them into videos, and attached them to the recipes. It's a pity that even though he put a lot of effort into it, it didn't sell out as soon as it was put up for sale. Half a month later, it was only sold out. 19 orders. In response to this, they sat down and studied the 10 fruit tea recipes he prepared. They optimized the video of the fruit tea preparation process and the text of the recipes several times, trying to make them as easy to understand as possible. The whole process has been simplified to a foolproof operation process. Of course, this preparation process also sacrifices some parts that test cooking skills. The fruit tea brewed strictly according to this process is not as delicious as the one made by Wu Jiantao himself, but at least it is 80% good. If you achieve this level, It will be almost the same as the signature fruit tea of the most popular chain beverage shops nowadays, and it may even taste better than most beverage shops. Unfortunately, the hard work of Wu Jiantao, Chen Jun, and Li Xiaoshan did not result in a big sale of these fruit tea recipes. There were still not many people buying them, and it was rare for them to sell 1 or 2 orders a day. But every user who bought the fruit tea recipe praised the recipe after making it themselves. Among them, there was even a young man who personally sent a private message to Li Xiaoshan, saying that he was grateful to her as the matchmaker. It was because of the fruit tea recipe he bought from her and brewed it personally for the girl he liked that the two of them finally established a relationship. Then, he bought all the other 9 fruit tea recipes on the spot. Finally, this buddy also said that these fruit tea recipes will definitely be popular. It would be unfair if they were. Seeing such a good response from the after-sales service, Wu Jiantao and his friends finally felt a little relieved. Since someone recognized it, there was no need to rush, and they could just take their time. Chapter 170. The whole force enters the circle. Please subscribe and vote for the monthly ticket tilde. Anyway, Wu Jiantao did not accept this task for the sake of making money. He hoped more to get the 56 secret yoga postures as a reward from the system task. Now the first 13 postures are enough for Chen Jun and Li Xiaoshan to practice for the time being. As for having one more person learn Tibetan yoga, Wu Jiantao did not have any outdated idea of keeping it to himself. Instead, he generously taught his cousin Yuan Huang the practice of the first 13 postures. Well, when teaching this yoga practice, there will be some physical contact in many places, especially in the waist, abdomen, legs, and feet, which are relatively private areas. It would be better to let my eldest cousin teach himself. Wu Jiantao is not very convenient. As for letting Chen Jun teach this girl, she herself hasn't figured it out yet, so it's definitely not possible for her to teach others. Before we knew it, the school season has arrived. Daodu and Mayo Mio are now 4 months old. In mid-September, universities and vocational schools in the university town of F-City have started classes, and some schools like M University have already started classes. On this day, Chen Jun got up early before 5:30 in the morning and began to practice the first 13 postures of tantric yoga in the living room, while Wu Jiantao stood outside on the balcony. Boom, boom. Waves of thunder-like sounds emanated from his waist, abdomen, chest, and back. If there was a professional warrior nearby at this moment, his expression would definitely change instantly, and he would look at him with respect and awe. The transformation of light and darkness goes as desired, and all the muscles and bones in the body resonate. This can only be achieved after the martial arts realm has entered the realm of strength, entering into a round state, and has been completely stabilized and has achieved some success. Well, just yesterday, he finally consolidated his martial arts skills and officially became a star-level master of the Circle of Strength. Now he only needs to find time to go to the security department and complete the professional certification to become a star-level warrior. At the same time, he also needs to go to the security bureau of City F. Well, go register and become a member of the Chinese Martial Arts Elite Association, and you will automatically have the status of a security bureau war policeman, and you can receive a very generous national subsidy every month. Of course, the enjoyment of rights also comes with corresponding obligations. If the National Security Bureau or relevant departments temporarily call you up, and there is no objective or force majeure factor to prevent you from doing so, you cannot refuse. Star-level masters and ordinary professional warriors are 2 completely different concepts, even though Wu Jiantao seems to have several star-level experts around him, such as his parents, Uncle Yuan Long and cousin Yuan Huang. All 4 of them are above star level, and the first 2 are even rarer masters with profound strength. However, star masters are actually quite rare and precious. You know, among 1,000 ordinary people, there is only one person who has very good martial arts talent and has a high probability of entering the professional level. 1 in 1,000 chance. However, among 1,000 professional warriors, there is not a single one who can steadily step into the star level. Even among 10,000 professional warriors, it is very rare to find one. Star Master, such an existence is 1 in a million among warriors. Not only in China, but also in any other country in the world, it is extremely precious. Each one is a strategic resource. Let's take China, an ancient Eastern country that currently has the most star-level masters in the world, as an example. It is a country with the 2nd largest population in the world, nearly 1.5 billion. With such a population base, there are only about 5,000 star-level masters in the entire Chinese country. Of course, This is only the number on the surface. There are probably many more lurking in the dark. But now, Wu Jiantao has quietly become one of them. After completing his morning practice, Wu Jiantao went into the kitchen to prepare breakfast, while Chen Jun was still quietly completing her yoga practice in the living room. Well, even though she has been practicing this tantric yoga for less than 2 months, the girl has been practicing it continuously every day until now, and she can clearly feel the wonderful changes taking place in her body. I feel like my body has become lighter, but I have even gained more than 10 pounds on the scale in the past 2 months. I also feel like I can't breathe after just a little movement, and my physical strength and energy have improved a lot. Even my skin has improved. I don't feel backache so easily when I sit at the desk in the study to work for several hours, and even my eyes are not so dry anymore. The most important thing is that she felt her muscles and bones became more flexible, and her strength increased a lot. The most intuitive feeling was that she could now hold someone down with one hand. That's right, this someone is Li Xiaoroshan, it's me. This happened a few days ago when these two besties were playing around, and one of them sadly discovered that the girl who used to let her bully her seemed to be a little too strong, so she tried it. As a result, she was slapped on the sofa by her best friend and couldn't get free even if she tried her best. It's not fair. I also practice tantric yoga together, so how come your strength has increased so much more than mine? Someone was very unwilling. Maybe it's because I practice yoga longer than you do, Chen Jun said as a matter of course. Well, she practices Tibetan yoga whenever she has time. Her morning and evening classes add up to 3 hours. Sometimes, if she has nothing else to do at noon or the baby is not making a fuss, she will also practice. In this way, after 2 months, the effect of her practice of this secret yoga was naturally amazing. Especially since Wu Jiantao was a warrior after all, he gave her very good guidance on the training and practice of the 13 postures of secret yoga. Of course, the key to her improvement is her ability to stay calm, and her almost paranoid seriousness and responsibility. Although life is unpredictable, in fact, in many cases it is more due to personality. The so-called personality determines destiny is not just a saying. As for Li Xiaoroshan, although she has also improved, she has not experienced a qualitative improvement like Chen Jun. The reason is not complicated. The most fundamental point is that this girl can never calm down when practicing yoga. You know, Yuan Huang is also a star warrior after all. His vision and martial arts experience are even better than Wu Jiantao. The advice he can give her must be good, or even better. It's a pity that a change of mind cannot be achieved overnight. Of course, there are other objective reasons. For example, this girl is really busy at work in the research institute. Although she practices every day, she can only practice for 1 or 2 hours at most. The length of time is really incomparable to Chen Jun. But after this incident, Li Xiaoroshan calmed down and at least was able to practice. Although she is more fickle-minded than Chen Jun, she is also a top student after all, and has a good grasp of herself. As long as she calms down, Li Xiaoroshan, who is smart enough, can do whatever she wants to do with determination. Chapter 171. Go to work and ask for subscription and monthly ticket tilde. Hubby, today is your first day of class, so you should go early. I'll take care of all this. After breakfast, Chen Jun rushed to clean up the small steamer, plates, and soup spoons on the table. Seeing her take the initiative to do this, Wu Jiantao couldn't help but look at this girl. Unconsciously, she was no longer the girl who would blush when she was called husband when teasing her. Wife, Wu Jiantao stood up and called her softly. Chen Jun had just put the dishes in the sink and turned back in confusion, only to see her husband coming over and hugging her tightly. White lips and teeth are interdependent. A faint blush crept up her cheeks, and she slapped her man in a reproachful manner. What are you doing? I just want to see you blushing. Wu Jiantao stared at the beauty's angry expression and felt that he could never get enough of it. Okay, let's go to work. Clearly feeling the aggression in someone's eyes, the girl couldn't stand it anymore. So she smiled and chased him out of the kitchen with her wet hands. I'll be back at noon. I'll take care of Daodu and Mio in the morning. Wu Jiantao stood at the door and looked back at her again. I know. Chen Jun rolled his eyes at him with disdain and said, Go ahead. Soon, Wu Jiantao left home with steady steps, but with some regrets in his heart. I thought that with the practice of Tibetan yoga, the girl's body had recovered. But after carefully reading the general outline of the 56 postures of Tibetan yoga, I found that it is best not to do that in the introductory stage of this practice. Otherwise, the practice effect will be half the result with twice the effort. It will only work when Chen Jun can achieve a joyful heart through meditation and concentration. Unlike Chinese martial arts, which have very strict requirements on the body's muscles, strength, and state of mind. The practice of this secret yoga only requires the investment and change of the mind. From low to high levels of the mind, it can be roughly divided into touched heart, happy heart, selfless heart, wisdom and concentration heart, and the highest level of sitting and forgetting heart. Other physical improvements and transformations are all incidental, not forced, and not defined. There is a sense of consistency and simplicity in them. This is also a change in one's mind, and it is also the state of mind pursued by the meditation method in this yoga practice. Among them, Wu Jiantao achieved selflessness and broke through to the martial arts realm of whole strength into a circle. In the kitchen, Chen Jun cleaned up the dishes and came to the living room. A dazed look suddenly appeared on her face, and an inexplicable feeling of emptiness arose in her heart. Since I was discharged from the hospital, it seems that he has never left my side. Unexpectedly, after just a short while, she felt a little uncomfortable and even missed him. The girl stood quietly in the living room. Suddenly, the sound of two babies babbling came from the bedroom. She woke up from her dream and hurried over to take a look. The two babies woke up and were crawling around in the fence. The little girl was a bit wild and actually reached out to try to climb the fence. Oh, Dowdu and Mayomio are awake, Tilda. Seeing the two little babies, the mother's face was immediately filled with doting, and she came to the baby's bed. The two babies made babbling sounds unconsciously, and even made sounds similar to their mothers. In fact, most of the sounds made by the babies are unconscious, and they can't even call mother yet. Although the babies didn't understand yet, they missed their mother naturally. When Chen Jun appeared here, the two babies immediately focused their attention on her, moving their hands and feet, trying to crawl over. Unfortunately, the two babies are still too young and can't crawl at all. Come here, Mommy. Do you want to change your diaper, Tilda? Chen Jun came over and checked their diapers. They were quite dry, and there was no need to change them for the time being. With one hand, he picked up the stroller that was folded up beside him, opened it and put it away. Then he easily picked up the two babies and was about to put them in the stroller. Her brows suddenly twitched, as if she had gotten up at around 5 o'clock to feed her baby, and it was almost 8 o'clock now. Well, now is a good time to feed her baby, so that when she takes Dowdu and Mayomio out for a walk later, she doesn't have to find a special place to feed them. By the way, now the two babies love going out more and more. Although the two little ones are still young and don't know how to make a fuss about going out, now as soon as she shows signs of going out, they dance and babble with great joy. It's a rare day today where the weather is a bit cloudy, and there's a light, cool vapor in the air. Well, there were several heavy rains yesterday afternoon and early this morning, so it's rare that this very hot September day has a bit of coolness. When they came downstairs, the two little ones looked at the surrounding scene with curiosity with their big black eyes. The younger sister was trying to turn over in her little bed, but the space was too small for her to turn over. Zio Chen, you're out shopping again this morning. Senior Chen, good morning. When she came downstairs, several middle-aged women and young people had just returned from jogging or working out outside. When they saw her with her two babies, they all greeted her. Occasionally, an elder would ask, "Why didn't I see Zairo Wu today?" The girl smiled and replied that he went to work today. Chen Jun always feels lost when she thinks of work. Although she can now do some research institute work at home, it is mostly auxiliary work such as data organization, data analysis, and calculation. Well, even though she majored in physical mathematics in college, she is also quite strong in pure mathematics and can help with the calculation aspect. But what Chen Jun hopes more is to return to the research institute and the laboratory to participate in specific projects and experimental operations, which is what she is pursuing. However, every time she felt such urgency in her heart, she couldn't help but look at the two babies in front of her, and couldn't help but recall that before going to bed last night, she and her husband talked about planning to return to work at the Research Institute after the two babies were 6 months old. 6 months? Wu Jiantao couldn't help but frowned. After pondering for a while, he slowly said, "Wife, you want to return to the Institute and pursue your own ideals. I understand this and can support you, but the two babies are only 6 months old, aren't they too young? Hubby, the Institute is going to launch a major national project in the second half of the year, and I don't want to miss it." Seeing her husband frowning slightly, Chen Jun quickly hugged his arm and shook it, saying coquettishly, "Yes, how about I ask my master to let me work half a day first, and when the baby is 1 year old and can walk, I can work full time." Chapter 172. Buying food, please subscribe. Please give me a monthly ticket, Tilda. Half-day shift. Wu Jiantao hesitated for a moment, still looking somewhat troubled, and said bluntly, but I don't think you are the type who would come back obediently after working half a day. Chen Jun was stunned. I promise, I swear. The girl cutely stretched out her right hand, with her index finger, middle finger, and ring finger, and put the 3 fingers together and pointed upwards. Wu Jiantao quickly grabbed her soft white hand and said, "Okay, I believe you. In fact, I can understand you. You, like your mother, have your own beliefs and pursuits. Family and career are bound to conflict. I just hope you can give 50% of your attention to the 2 babies. After all, your current relationship with your parents." This sentence stops at this point and doesn't go on, but the meaning is already very clear. Lessons from the past. Hearing this, Chen Jun's face suddenly changed. He couldn't help but turn his head to look at the 2 babies beside him, and a trace of palpitation appeared on his face. No, I definitely won't. I don't want to, and I definitely won't repeat my mother's mistakes. When the time comes, I will make a good work plan and strictly control my time. Husband. In addition to work, my heart is not only with Daodu and Mayo Mio, my heart is still with you. At this point, the girl gently fell into his arms and snuggled up to him. To be honest, the care you've given me these days is so good that I'm dependent on you now, and I can't live without you anymore. I can tell anyone now that my husband is the best husband in the world. Hearing her confession, Wu Jiantao's heart was burning with anger, and he couldn't help but bow his head. When love comes, it is deep and lasting. If you can understand each other, it is destined. Perhaps because Chen Jun was in a hurry to go back to work, the 2 of them still had some small problems. But in the end, the conflict or quarrel that she expected between the 2 of them did not happen. In fact, she had been mentally prepared from the beginning for Wu Jiantao to flatly reject her offer and ask her to stay at home to take care of the babies first, and then talk about it when the 2 babies were 1 year old. Unexpectedly, the first sentence he said was, "I understand you." Although his understanding was not that of giving in without a bottom line, and he did not agree with me right away, he hoped that I could consider the 2 little babies more. But Chen Jun also realized his impatience, adjusted himself in time, and made concessions. This storm was resolved by the mutual respect between the 2 parties. Well, although they were still in the period of passionate love, their life had already entered the stage of marriage. Family life after marriage is always trivial and complicated, especially the big and small things at home and outside, in life and work, which always inevitably lead to conflicts. In this process, both Wu Jiantao and Chen Jun need to make some choices, and choices mean trade-offs. This is inevitable. At around 10 o'clock in the morning, Chen Jun decided to go to the vegetable market to buy some vegetables. Although Wu Jiantao had accompanied Chen Jun to the vegetable market before and taught her a lot of common sense about buying vegetables, such as what kind of vegetables are fresh, how to tell the freshness of fish and meat. Just like the vegetables she likes to eat, the fresh outer leaves are bright green and full of vitality, and the color of the vegetables inside can be milky white or slightly yellow. But if there are small black spots on it, don't buy it. Also, a common problem when picking root, stem, or leafy vegetables is that if they don't feel flexible and soft to the touch, but instead have a hard skin or stem, then that means the vegetable is not fresh. In fact, there were still some ingredients in the refrigerator, so there was no need to buy them specifically. However, Chen Jun felt that he could not always rely on Wu Jiantao. If one day he happened to be away, or if he was unable to come back in time due to something. At that time, I didn't know how to buy groceries or cook, so what would the 2 babies eat? Therefore, during this period of time, she not only learned some basic skills such as frying eggs and stir-frying vegetables from Wu Jiantao, but also insisted on following him to the vegetable market to learn how to choose and buy vegetables. Well, today was her first time to go to the market to buy vegetables independently. Of course, with 2 babies, there's nothing we can do. Ms. Mo said yesterday that she would be back this morning, but it's already 10 o'clock and she hasn't come back yet. I can't get in touch with her via WeChat or phone, so she must still be on the plane. I can't blame my mom. She is actually very punctual. If she hasn't arrived at this time, the plane is probably delayed. Chen Jun took off the cover on the stroller, pushed the 2 babies, and walked into the vegetable market. Well, as soon as I walked into the vegetable market, the noisy and bustling sound came over me. It was almost noon, and there were quite a lot of people coming to buy vegetables. But this scene is not common. Well, she once insisted to come with Wu Jiantao around 6 or 7 in the morning. At that time, there were really a lot of people in the vegetable market, almost crowded. At that time, she did not go in, but stood outside the aisle and was stunned by the huge crowds and hustle and bustle inside. Wu Jiantao could only let her wait for him outside. Well, there were too many people inside, and it was crowded. She was a girl and so pretty, so it would be easy for someone to take advantage of her. How much is this vegetable? $4 per pound. In the vegetable stall, the lady selling vegetables looked at the girl in front of her with some curiosity. Wow, even though she couldn't be seen because of the mask, but looking at her figure, her eyes and eyebrows, there is no doubt that she is a beauty. This girl must be loved by a man. How could her husband bear to let her go out to buy groceries? After buying some Shanghai greens, corn, radishes, and other vegetables at this vegetable stall, Chen Jun nodded to the woman selling vegetables and pushed the two babies to the other side. While walking, she lowered her head and looked at the two babies through the hood. Well, they were still awake when she first went out. They were probably awake for too long in the morning, and it was very comfortable to be pushed around, so they fell asleep again. I feel that my appetite has increased a lot recently. Pork alone is not enough at home. Let's go buy some beef. The girl thought so, and turned around to walk towards the beef stall her husband had pointed out to her, when she suddenly heard hurried footsteps behind her. Almost subconsciously, Chen Jun turned around and saw a dark shadow approaching him from the corner of his eye. Tap, tap. She stuck close to the stroller and swiftly moved back. The middle-aged man who almost passed by her continued to walk